18th of June Conservation Commission meeting. I'm assuming you guys are all here for agenda items. Anyone here for public comment? Well, if you're here for public comment, this is now's your moment in the sun. No?
Well, this is Beverly. She's the volunteer from the Scholar cleanup that's interested in finding out and maybe joining the commission. So.
All right.
No, welcome.
All right.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. Welcome. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any more appointments for today, so we have right to our first order of business. Oh, wait a second. Let's try it with the right one. So yeah, statutory business. So you got there's two. You guys are all Fidelity, right? So so are you here separately, or we're not really combining these two items?
We do each other in the lobby. Just kidding.
Okay.
A little bit separately.
Okay. So the first one is the review for the Zippity cars.
Yes.
We'll start with that. If whoever comes in, if you please just sign in your name for spelling. So Matt, so for disclosure purposes, Matt here works for Fidelity, so he's going to recuse himself from the. But I would. Yeah.
We'll just ignore it.
You're not going to vote.
So. If you could just make sure that microphone's on, the LED should be lit up. Tim. We more just want to make sure we get the spellings of your name correct. Thanks, Chris. All right. So,
anybody else to sign into, or when they?
Yeah, actually can. People, if everyone's going to come up and speak, you might as well get this over with now. So, if you guys could just give us kind of an overview of what's going on, please.
Thank you. My name's John Sokol. I'm from Hinckley Allen, here on behalf of Fidelity, and with me is Robin Gottschall, Real Estate Counsel at Fidelity, and Henry Ebosh from Zippity Cars. And we're here tonight because as an employee amenity, Fidelity had been using this Zippity car service, which is a auto detailing and minor automotive repair, self-contained, customized trailer that is brought onto the Fidelity campus a couple times a month. And while the employees are working, they can have either minor automobile repairs or detailing or an oil change in a self-contained trailer. Nothing remains on site. It's driven in at the beginning of the day, and when they're done, it's driven off site and disposed of elsewhere. And anyway, it turned out we needed ZBA approval for the use, which was not an allowed use in the industrial zone. So we got a special exception from the ZBA. And then we needed planning board approval because it was a modification to some level of our existing site plan approval. And so we went and saw the planning board and got that approval, and their approval contained a condition that any recommendations this commission has with respect to how the use ought to be conducted on the property would be part of our planning board approval. And that's why we're here tonight. And we understand this board's focus is on wellhead protection, the groundwater protection, and Fidelity is very concerned about that as well. They own the property, they want to maintain the integrity of the property, they're very concerned about the environmental protection. They do a nice job maintaining their property, and that was one of their requirements for Zippity cars. We went to the board and explained the two preferred locations, but the board said you can do this really anywhere on site that you want, so that was better than what we expected. And but just so that you know, the preferred location happens to be in a wellhead protection area on the site. It happens to be already existing paved parking with cars parking there anyway. One of the other locations is out of the wellhead protection area, but it's in a little bit busier area around campus. Again, it's another paved parking lot, but it's not as desirable from Fidelity's purposes because it just would interfere more with where people more regularly park than the other parking spot, which is more remote. And so what we're here tonight to do is to answer any questions you have, or if you'd like us to explain a little bit more about the operations and the protections and safeguards that are already put in place there. We have the head of operations from Zippity Cars here to speak to that. And this is an amenity that's becoming more and more popular throughout New Hampshire and the greater Boston area. It's at Dartmouth College, it's at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, a few other locations up in the in that area. And I know you were mentioning a few new Hypertherm.
Trying to think of the flower. King Arthur flower.
Oh, yep.
They're on conservation land as well. So,
but in any event, it's pretty small. It's self-contained. It's portable. Comes in, leaves. It's like just a large truck being there. It takes about It occupies about 3 parking spaces, and the cars go in and are fully contained when the work is being done. And then when the work is done, they're just driven off the back of the trailer and they go back to their spot in the parking lot. But Henry, if you would maybe speak to a few of the environmental safeguards, or just the level,
Sure.
the level of you
Sure.
doing what you bring in for oil, what you bring off the site, and how it's disposed of.
Sure. Currently, there's 3 levels of containment for us. One is the trailer itself, or the mobile service garage. What happens is the vehicle is driven inside of this mobile service garage and it is sealed. It's weather tight as it gets in there. The only thing that's exposed is the stage door, so we can actually walk around the vehicle. But the vehicle's actually set in 15 inches below of containment. Then from there we have the oil that comes out of the vehicle is contained in a 20-gallon container. And then from there we have another 25-gallon spill kit. So just in case the worst thing that could happen, we can contain everything that we have. We only bring on site what we're doing. So if we have an 8-car day, we bring in enough materials to do that 8-vehicle day. We don't have excess anything. If we're going to bring in 10 gallons of oil, we're going to take out 10 gallons of oil. Every night, the fluids are pumped into a container at Advance. Advance is one of our strategic partners. And it's disposed of DOT and EPA regulations. We recycle, everything's recycled, and it's done through Safety Clean, which is a standard practice for most automotive. And that's what we have.
So, any other fluids besides oil? Is that the main?
We don't really get into the other fluids. Mainly it's basic maintenance, brakes, simple repair. A lot of the antifreezes and those, they make quite a bit of a mess. And the days of antifreeze where you do an antifreeze change every year, they're 105,000 mile services. So it's not something that we really get into. So we're not planning on it either.
So there's two locations or one on site?
There are 2 locations, and our preferred location is on the periphery of the parking lot because I feel like we feel strongly that it's safer for everybody on the campus to have to be on the periphery where there's less traffic, less pedestrian traffic, fewer cars going by. Because although it's very safe and they put cones around it, you do have cars coming in and out of the trailer, and I'd rather not have it be in a high pedestrian traffic area where people are walking to and from their cars or even driving by.
That's designated as one?
Yes.
The preferred area?
Yes, exactly. So that's the preferred area. Number 2 is a little bit more, it's closer to the building and a little higher traffic area, but it is outside is it the wellhead?
Wellhead.
It's outside the wellhead area. So that's why we put the alternative location in there. But once again, it's these areas, it's all already paved. So, and the service is self-contained, so we're hoping that it won't be an issue to keep it on the periphery of the campus and out of the flow of the general traffic.
So this is like a trailer with a ramp, and the cars go up.
Would you like to see a
inside.
picture?
Sure. First.
They'll pass. They'll work their way around.
Yeah.
He has a picture on his surface here that shows the car in it.
Is this on site, this picture, or is this a different
This is on site.
location?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's quite a cool idea.
Well, the employees must love it.
It's a service that's quite popular with the employees.
So the cars, do they drive into the trailer from this other side?
Can you show him that?
So the vehicle would drive in through a ramp, and then what happens is that ramp closes while the vehicle's inside the unit. It's actually weather sealed. We even have side skirts that go, for rainy, rainy days and things of that nature. Winter, we've worked in 16 degree below zero. It's fully heated and air conditioned.
Did you guys see that?
So, yeah. So is this a typical configuration?
Yes,
So the generator sits outside?
it does. Yes,
Okay.
it's a fuel injected Honda generator, runs at 42 decibel. CARB approved.
Wow, great idea.
And the gas can is out there like that too?
Not typically. A gas can's usually inside the. There's actually a truck that's there with it, so that is it's a 5-gallon gas can. It's inside the truck. Typically, it's only out there when they're refueling.
So I asked about the location because I wanted to get an idea of slopes and things like that, so. Your operator will be trained in how to take care of a spill in the event of a spill?
They are, yes.
Okay. Will your spill prevention procedure be provided to the board, to the planning
We have an
board?
emergency response plan. Yes, with spill prevention in it. I can provide that to you.
Yeah, that would be something we'd like to have on file with the planning board.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and refueling that generator, is that, does it run the day? Does it run?
It typically will take 5 gallons. Will run us about 3 days.
Okay.
And you say when the fluids are extracted, that's done off premises, correct?
Correct. Yes, that is done at our advanced home stores throughout New England.
Oh.
And also, we have we've run our practice by Suzanne Warner with the EPA, and it's an acceptable. They accepted our practice in regards to how we dispose of and everything that we do environmentally.
Well, as you know, you guys were sent before us because of the wellhead and the aquifer protection, but obviously something as contained as this doesn't really. There's not really a whole lot for us to say,
There's more.
Yeah.
There could be more of a hazard of the vehicle itself being outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's in a parking lot that no one's checking those cars to see if they're leaking or dripping and
Right.
are contained. So
Check every car.
And then to leave a little note, we can fix this.
We actually
Good
have
idea.
yeah, yeah. I don't have any particular questions about it nor concerns one way or the other. For the personnel safety to me is because people walk around with their face buried in their phone anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess the last question I have is, your operator drives the vehicle into the building?
We have, it's a 2-technician process. So there's one technician driving the vehicle, the other technician is bringing him into the mobile service garage. So, and there's always 2 technicians there. Mainly it's safety and redundancy. I want to make sure that the vehicles leave the same way they came in.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of checks and balances we have.
That was my first question. I don't have to drive it in there, right?
Right.
No. Yeah.
Mike, do you have any questions? Okay. Are you due back before?
No, my only comment is, as long as you're going to operate the way you've described, I don't think we have any
Yeah,
issues.
there's not really anything we can much to say. Are you going back in front of the planning board, or are they just waiting for our
We're
comments?
waiting for your recommendations, if any.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's, obviously from what you've described here, it seems to me a pretty clean operation. The only thing we'd like to see is have the planning board have your copy of your emergency
Absolutely.
response.
Absolutely. And what I can do is, would I just email it to you? Is that fine? And you can distribute it, or?
Yeah, I can distribute it to the town, and they'll distribute it to you all. Great.
Want your pictures back?
Yeah. You want to use them again?
It's up to you.
Yeah, we're gonna keep one for the file. In case you only need one,
Yeah,
right?
just one.
Well, from our
Thank you.
perspective, I think now would be a good time to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Devonshire Energy, again with Fidelity, if you guys want to. Yes. Yeah, please,
Okay.
go ahead. Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Dave Fenstermacher from VHB. I'm here with
I'm Brian Gagler from Fidelity Investments.
and we're here tonight. VHB is supporting Fidelity on this solar project at the campus in Merrimack. We have submitted to the planning board for site plan review, and as a portion of the site is within the Aquifer Protection District. We're here tonight to speak to you folks. And just to give everybody reference, here's the existing 550 plus acre site, the stream outs out here. So what we're looking at is to put in a about 3.1 megawatt
DC. 3.1 megawatt DC.
facility in this lower corner. It's about 12 acres. I'll show you.
Maybe we could take a step back before she can show that there. But ultimately, a few years ago, several years ago, Fidelity developed a sustainability program internally to reduce our environmental impact of our operations and ensure that we're operating in accordance with ways that will be sort of friendlier to the environment. Where I came involved in that was probably 2013 or 14. We decided to try to increase our usage of renewable energy, or actually, so we can offset the environmental impact of our electricity usage. So in 2014, we built 22 megawatts of solar farms in North Carolina. We have an operation, and it's one of our hubs in North Carolina. We have a larger data center also in North Carolina. And so we built 22 megawatts, which were about 4 farms that were about 40 acres apiece. They are not on our campus. They are on leased land, and we sell the power back to the grid and keep and retire the renewable energy credits from that. And so those 4 farms bring our renewable energy usage to about 10% of our electricity usage globally. And so I've been on a crusade to try to increase our renewable energy usage through other means. It's potentially buying more renewable energy assets like we own in North Carolina, and potentially looking into power purchase agreements with off-site assets owned and operated by others. So this is one project that we're looking to own this asset, build it on our campus in an area that has some existing trees already cleared. So we tried to minimize the amount of trees that we're going to clear. It's a section of our campus that's very sandy, so there's not a lot of tree coverage there, and we're going to try to make use of that. And so this represents the first large-scale ground-mounted system on any of our campuses in the country. We've had some rooftop projects in Massachusetts that we built, but they're very small. So this is a pretty substantial jump into the ground-mounted system on our campus. The reason for that, it's going to move the renewable energy needle about 2%, so it'll add about 2% renewable energy for us. We have another project we're looking to do at our Smithfield, Rhode Island campus, a very similar project, which will add about another 2%. So together with these projects, it'll be about 14% connected with our existing North Carolina campus. We've made a good dent, but we'd like to. My goal is to try to get us to be more. So we would like to be maybe in the 40-50% range. A lot of companies out there, the tech sector, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they have all made 100% renewable energy commitments, and so we get a pretty decent grade in that category, but there's more for us to do. And so this will be sort of the first step into that. And the other reason is also it's an exciting project for us because we feel it's going to, an on-campus project will resonate with our associates that are like-minded in terms of environmental, and when there's plenty of them at that campus, and also potentially with our customers too. So be able to demonstrate that we've made a commitment to renewable energy and make a commitment to our sustainability program. And so that's really the reason for this project. It has a financial return. We are monetizing federal tax credits, so it has a return, but we are putting all that capital at risk to build this project, and hope it operates into many years to come.
Yeah, so just to add on to what Brian said, the siting of the project, as we said, an already open area, close to the Everett Turnpike, really preserving the usable green space. You go out there now and there's trails. We're siting this to maintain all those. We have a decent buffer from the neighborhood. There's a lot here that's estate-owned that we're going to be 200 feet off, but that next residential lot's another 300 feet away from the solar array from the state property there. And there's an existing access on Thornton Road that we'd be maintaining. So just did a little overlay here. So this gives you an idea from an aerial perspective where we are. As I said, we'll have an access from Thornton Road, and then through the campus, we'll be building this temporary construction access road. That's actually where the overhead wires will go for the connection to the Eversource. That's that old digital exit onto the turnpike. And so from a impact standpoint, this is an unmanned operation. There's no real traffic besides the regular maintenance. So with that, there's no sewer or water going out there. From a stormwater standpoint, there really isn't a ton of new impervious. There's 3 transformer pads out there. And then we do, consistent with what we've done for other solar projects in New England, the posts themselves for the solar arrays are considered impervious, but the panels are not. So we're really just mitigating the stormwater peak rate increase. We're doing that through a few surface ponds and some infiltration trenching along the middle. So we do have our wetland scientists here. We did go out there, set the constraints with wetlands. VHB's been on campus for a long time, but we went out there this past fall. Actually, we're in the spring too.
Spring. Yeah, recently, yep.
And went out and delineated, set all the setbacks, and we're respecting all those. So no real wetlands impacts. We're really here today because of the a portion of the project is within the aquifer protection. But for the most part, the components are the fencing, the panels, and the 3 transformers. So I think that gives a general overview, and we'll just open up for questions.
So how many more trees will you need to take down?
There is, so we are keeping as many as possible. I believe it's still going to be about, I think it was 9 to 12 acres of trees.
When are you planning on starting construction?
As soon as we are able.
Or
Yeah.
when are you planning on taking these trees down?
As soon as we are able.
Late summer, early fall.
So after nesting season?
Yeah. And we do have, we did run the NHB. There's the violets and snakes. out there that really going to be just construction monitoring. We're going to work through that with the Fish and Wildlife and NHB, but keeping an eye on those species while we're out there for construction.
So there's one wetland in the middle of the array?
There is.
Yeah, maybe you should.
So there is the one in the middle. We're showing a 40-foot setback off of that one. The intent for the grading out there is to really utilize the existing grades that are out there right now. It's not going to be a big earthwork project. It's driving the post. There are some maximums that we have to deal with for access, for slopes, and some ledge that we'll need to deal with. So what we're showing now is our general footprint of the building, and once we get into the engineering design, there may be some things moving around, but this is the general intent. So the intent is to not, respecting the 25-foot do not disturb, and then from the 40-foot, not putting any structures within that setback.
And the reason it's laid out this way, you're probably wondering why couldn't you find somewhere else to put it on campus, is most of the tree clearing is, the trees that are already cleared are here. So that was, sorry, step in front here. Most of the existing cleared land is roughly here, and so it just maximized the use of existing trees already cleared.
So you're driving posts, or are they going to be surface?
It'll be surface mount racks, and they'll be screwed into the granite if we find it, or into the granite.
Yeah, it's not a ballast system. It's a post.
Yeah, post.
You're going to be doing any blasting? Not intending or not blasting?
Well, we're avoiding the exposed ledge, right from the design standpoint.
Yeah, so can we guarantee at this point that there will be no blasting? I'm not sure we can do that, but we're avoiding. I'm sorry, I apologize. So the intent is not to blast. Okay. The problem is that we just don't. The ledge situation
Right.
beneath
No,
the
I
surface is hard to gauge at this point. The racking system that the solar panels will be built on will be screwed into the granite, existing grading and so forth. We're running overhead lines, correct, Paul?
We're just going to have to do that as pre-drill, stake those, but and then for the conduit, usually you trench, but we can go above ground if needed.
So what Paul said is we for the conduit, for the interconnecting wiring system, we usually trench that. If there's significant ledge, we would need to blast to do that, but we could surface mount that to get around that.
Just saying, particularly over wellhead areas, that's pretty. We find it to be pretty dangerous.
Well, I think the other thing is on our campus. That's our campus.
Right.
So blasting on our campus is not going to be well received either. I know there was a fair amount of blasting across the street at the outlet and our data center. I work for the real estate group, and our data center people were freaking out over that, and we had a major discussion over the blasting and what it'll do. And I know they put testing devices within our buildings to do that. So if I guess if you need from me to ensure that there's no blasting, I guess I'm gonna have to make that pledge to you.
Well, obviously,
You twist really hard.
Well, I mean, no, but I mean, it's we don't.
I'm just saying, I appreciate your point of view. I mean, but a computer we can bring back. If we ruin the water table.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're screwed.
And the whole reason for doing this whole project
Right.
is not.
No,
I
understand that.
Try
So I was
to
just
be,
saying,
try to reduce our environmental impact. So
But
it's
just like you
defeating
said,
the purpose.
particularly on the other side of you, it caused a lot of problems.
Did it really?
It caused a lot of problems. I mean, we had a lot of damage, a lot of home damage. People, walls, doors, windows, from no longer fitting, no longer closing, broken. So it was. We had a lot of problems.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, the intent is the the access road we're going to be building is going to be on the top.
On top, yep.
We're going to be driving posts. We're going to be, once we get out there and field assess where the ledge is, modifying the layout, and same thing with the conduit. If
I
it's
just
gonna
got,
be
I just
in-
got the head nod, no blasting. I just got the head nod, so I think we're good.
Yeah. And again, that's why when we're going to the planning board, we're talking about a building envelope for these things, because that's the kind of things we want to do in the field to avoid having to do blasting and additional impacts.
Yeah, our largest town well is across Continental Boulevard from your facility, so.
Yeah.
That's a good distance away, yeah. So was there going to be blasting when they ran that pipeline through the town too?
We're not talking about the pipe.
Oh, yeah.
We're not talking about
Don't
the
change the
pipeline.
subject, Brian.
I just got my blood pressure down.
That was a battle.
That's why I'm.
We were
on
right
this-
in the middle of all
That's
that.
why I'm on this commission.
We were right in the middle of all that, trust me.
Oh, yeah, we know. It was right through your
But
property, too.
originally, it was going to go right through one of our major conservation
I'm building the
properties.
solar farm right where that pipeline would have gone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just curious, the output of this solar array, how does that compare to the usage of that facility?
It's about, I had this written down. Joe, do you remember the numbers? I think it's 12% of the building we're going to feed and roughly 6% of the campus.
Why don't you are you putting any on the rooftops?
We could, but it's hard to scale up. It's hard to scale up. Roofs, I mean, you think you have a lot of roof space, but you have mechanical equipment, you have vents, you have vent pipes, all that kind of stuff. Then you have your roof integrity, you worry about the age of the roof. Then you have your load, your structural requirements of the roof. You're adding snow loading to it. So you have a lot of issues that drive the cost of a rooftop array up. Not to mention you have a solar array on your roof. So the farms that we operate in North Carolina are very, once they're built, it's loamed and seeded over. We're gonna use a pollinator mix for our seeding. Beneath it, we let the grass grow. We only mow it occasionally to keep saplings from growing in. So for the most part, these things are just grassed over and left as is. So
I mean, my only concern is you're taking out a lot of trees, so, I mean, if you're waiting
Yeah.
until the nesting season is done, I feel a little better about it, but.
And so that is a concern, and that was why we tried to locate it there, obviously.
Well, obviously, because you've already, why were the trees cleared before? How long ago was that? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think they grew there. I think it was a sand pit. I think it was an old sand pit, and that predates my
Yeah, there's a number of strategic sand pits along the Everett Turnpike that they used for materials when they were building the turnpike.
Oh, was that what?
It could
That's a
be
good
one
point.
of
I was
those.
wondering why that was in the middle of nowhere. It's
Could
just
be one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, I'm just saying it
it's
could be
a
one of
very.
those.
It looks like an old sand pit, and
Yeah.
it's graded up, and there's hardly anything's growing on it, just like some scrub. But so one comment I do want to make about the tree clearing, in my perspective, if you're going to clear trees, clearing it for solar is a reasonable trade-off, and at least from a greenhouse gas perspective. Okay, maybe not from a wetland disturbance perspective and all that. When you talk about alteration of terrain, but 1 acre of solar operating for a year has the greenhouse gas avoidance as over 100 acres of trees, and densely forested trees, their greenhouse gas absorption ability. So it's like there's like a 1 to 80, 1 to 100 ratio of acre per solar per trees, just from a greenhouse gas perspective, not wetlands and alteration of terrain. So that's how I sleep at night
Yeah.
when we do this. I mean,
It's great to see
No,
this.
it's not ideal.
This is a good project.
And I wholeheartedly support solar. I just, as long as you promise me you are not going to disturb those trees during nesting season.
Sure, absolutely.
Because otherwise I'd have to climb up in a tree and sit there for
We'd have to build around you. No, and again, that's the intent is to, I mean, and we had to pass hurdles internally. I mean, not just financial hurdles, but there were a lot of people very passionate. And we work. I know you recused yourself from the discussion here, but there's a lot of very passionate people within the company that are very passionate about the environment. So clearing trees and doing all that was a very touchy discussion trying to get, people to, move along and get on board with it, so.
That's excellent reason to do it.
So talk a minute about water, stormwater. So stormwater is going to hit the panels, it'll sheet off the panels, it'll hit the ground, permeate into the ground right from there, or are you going to be collecting and directing?
It's going to be sheeting, and then we'll collect it in a couple of low points
Yep.
and some to mitigate the peak rate.
So it actually falls through the cracks of the panels too.
Yeah.
So the panels, the panels are about the size of this table, say, Paul, is that?
It's about 1 meter.
Is that it? So, and they're separated on the racking system by about a half an inch to an inch, maybe less than, about that. And they're on a 20-degree angle here.
Yes.
20-degree angle here. So when the water hits them, it doesn't all just cascade down at one spot. It falls in between the cracks. And I can show. I don't have it. I have it out in my car. There's another solar farm up in Moultonboro, New Hampshire, built by the same firm, Amoresco, built for New Hampshire Cooperative, New Hampshire Electric Cooperative, and it was built last year. It's reasonably new, so you can actually see the drip pattern all throughout the racking system. So it doesn't just all cascade down in it like a roof.
Right, okay.
And the advantage of the posts is, like I said, we're not fine grading. We're taking the existing drainage patterns, dropping the posts in, and just matching those, and at the natural low points, putting in some areas of detention to kind of mitigate that peak. And it's really the only, like I said, there's minimal new impervious. It's the change in cover from the tree to the grass. It's really dictating the size of these ponds. And then we are working with the fire department now. The intent would to have the temporary construction access be gravel and then to loam and seed it after. We're working with them on potentially that needing to be permanent. And if that's the case, we met with DES a few weeks ago and we're talking about, just having some vegetated strips and trying to maximize the distance away from the wetlands over 50 feet and letting it treat that way.
So do you have plans to make this bigger at some point in the future, or this is it?
Oh, this is it.
Okay.
Just because it's interesting, what's the longevity of a panel? I mean, is this
25 years, 30 years? 25, 30 years.
so you're pretty much just minimal maintenance? You're just
you have there's like electrical things that we have to do to make sure it's connected and operating right. Sometimes the panels fail. You have interconnection things. You have performance problems. From a site maintenance perspective, in terms of the site around it, the ones that our solar farms in North Carolina, we just mow. We don't mow, but the operations team just mows to prevent performance. In other words, so if the grass is growing up in front of the panels and causing shading, they mow for that. But for the most part, the grass grows pretty high. So when I go down to visit it with an SUV, I've got to drive through sort of tall grass. So they mow once a year to prevent saplings from growing, so you're not getting trees in it. But for the most part, we don't do much to it.
so you're gonna have to have some kind of regular maintenance around the peripheral too to keep the overgrowth, the overstory. I mean, that's
Right, that's in that same mow zone.
that same.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's the tree. Paul,
Outside the fence line,
He's
between the
asking-
tree line and the fence line, just maintaining that with,
So I think as those trees get taller,
that's an annual
Yeah.
check, yeah.
So you can limit the trees that are around them too from just getting too tall.
That's correct.
So-
But there'll be the clearing made now, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the clearing now the goal will be to keep it sufficient
Right.
for shading, for the foreseeable future.
You guys gonna give tours when it's done?
Sorry?
You gonna give tours when
Yeah.
it's done?
Yeah.
You get more of these and we need a pipeline.
I was reading, I guess there's two different types of solar, and one could possibly, if the panels shine up, they could hurt birds.
So
The
that's
other-
that's concentrated solar,
Okay.
which you see out in the western. You see out in the desert, right? And what that does is it shines up because those are mirrors. Those are mirrors, right, Paul? Shake your head. Help me here. Those are, he's my expert over here, but he doesn't have a microphone. But those are mirrors that are laid down, to collect the sun, and they angle the sun, and then they focus the solar energy to a concentrating collector, like a vertical column.
Okay.
Right. So you're actually getting sun energy being redirected, and that's the thing that fries the birds.
Okay, so this isn't okay.
This is photovoltaic. The sunlight hits the panel. It creates
Absorbs it.
DC electricity, and no birds are harmed in the process.
Okay, good. Yeah, so this doesn't
Assuming we
move
don't harm their nesting,
Right. Okay, good.
which we will not.
And obviously this is better overall for the birds, but you just have to, just like with windmills, you can get bird-safe windmills. So I just want to make sure that it's good.
What is Meadow Mix? You're seeding.
That's
with
just like
Meadow.
a conservation mix. It's not like regular grass. The sort of meadowy. It's going to grow.
It produces. And I'm going to be outside my expertise here. It's supposed to produce habitat forming for like bees.
Okay,
bees,
that's what I was.
pollinator,
That's where I was heading.
pollinator mix.
That's
That
where I
was-
was heading for that.
Carrie concur.
And non-invasive.
That's
Oh,
correct.
right.
That
It's a New
was-
England
that was-
mix.
That was a New England mix.
It's
yeah.
only, okay.
Yeah, native, anything you replant, just use
Absolutely.
native seedling.
The goal is to,
Okay.
we're going to keep the lower edge of the array 3 feet, right, Paul? Is that? Yeah, see, he's checking me there, make sure I'm okay. 3 feet, 3 feet. So the panel, the plane of the array is going to be like this, tilting at 20 degrees, and the lower edge will be 3 feet high.
Okay.
So that'll be enough clearance to promote growth for that vegetation.
Okay.
Will promote the bee habitation.
Okay.
Whatever bees habitate, I assume.
Okay, and the deer will come and eat it too. So.
You're coming in, yeah.
So you're planning on using silt sock out there?
One more time?
Silt sock?
I think that's what we had in our plans.
Yeah.
They were doing the silt
You
sock.
using the composted mix, or is it going to be?
We typically do the composted mix.
So it's a clean composted mix.
Yeah.
There's that graded 1-0 graded compost for whatever it's called there for
Compost material. Yeah, I can add further detail to that. Is there
because
a specific one?
we want to
that-
make sure it's clean, dead compost.
Yep.
Not something that's full of little things. Because normally when they are done using it, they just dump it on the site.
Right.
Which is fine. So that's
Slice it and rake
Right.
it out.
right. So we want to make sure whatever's in there is
We're not bringing a bunch of new seeds into the
Right. Okay.
landscape, which could have actually interfere with your solar array.
Oh,
So
bittersweet.
you could end up with 5-foot tall stuff that blocks your panels. So,
Right.
right. So it's in your best interest in a way.
Invasive weeds, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Ones in my yard. You cut them out, they turn into wood for the next one season.
Yeah.
One season, you're talking a chainsaw.
So I didn't see any notes, and maybe I missed it, on fertilizer usage. Are you planning on doing any fertilizing?
I think that's the point of the meadow mix. They're
Yeah.
having something
I
native
just
that you
wanted
don't.
to ask in case.
You don't need it.
Just wanted to make sure, because that would be our preference, is that you don't add fertilizer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or certainly test your soil before you even think of applying fertilizer, because most soils are adequate, especially for the mix you're trying to use.
So we actually have even, I mean, again, I talk about this non-mowing. I mean, not cutting the grass is really our goal, to try to not cut it as often as possible, right?
Right.
To avoid mowing, or avoid at least cutting it. So
Fertilizer would be counterproductive.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just mean just to get things started. It's usually you spread your
Sure. Yeah.
your loam or whatever earth that you pushed out of the way when you were doing your project, and put it back down. And some people will add fertilizer to make it pop.
Right.
We'd prefer you didn't make it pop.
And,
Just
and,
let
we'll,
it go.
and if we have to come back and reseed, the following, like another season, that's something that we did. We had to do that in North Carolina because they didn't allow fertilizing either.
Yeah, we'd prefer not to. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We
Prefer.
yeah. And then if you were going to do it, we'd prefer that you don't include phosphates in it, which also helps it pop, but also helps
Well,
bacteria and everything
without
else
phosphates,
pop.
nothing turns green.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or purple in our ponds.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
Or the
Yeah.
cyanobacteria that we see sometimes. It's
Go to
all-
Central Florida, you can see purple from farming fertilizer.
So I think what we'll do is we'll incorporate those into our construction notes.
when do you go in front of the planning board?
tomorrow.
Oh. Gauge it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Late night.
Means he has work to do tonight.
Yeah.
And then we were just waiting for comments from you folks and planning board, and then we're going to go in for AOT shortly. But we've sat down with them and gone over the general plan, and so far everything looks good.
Okay. Well, we'll get something in the planning board tonight, and
That'd be great.
then we'll just cover again just those items. You know, obviously, if you're going to blast, we're going to have to require a notice.
Yeah.
But that's the preferred is no blasting. This native seedling and seedlings or seeding, and then fertilizer issues. So, great. You have any other questions?
That and avoid
Nesting.
Avoid nesting season.
Avoid nesting season. Thank you, Gina.
So who's gonna be the first tour?
Let's know.
Matt's like me.
Matt's probably already been out there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He already has the access badge. He can get back
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
I worked there when it was digital, so that's a long time ago.
You worked at Digital at that building?
Yeah, my group was the last group to leave.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Your construction team was already in there pulling all the ceilings down, ripping out all the deck net and all the other stuff that was in there. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
Body was still warm, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other questions? Any comments? No? We good? Okay. Great. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Apologize for the quick turnaround.
Oh, no, no.
Good project.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's a good project.
Thank you.
Do you need any of
Those were all your
these?
copies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll get Matt to keep us informed.
Yeah, we will.
Great.
Yeah, this will be good to, this will be interesting to see.
Well, he probably doesn't even know about it. We've been sort of keeping it.
I'm on the sustainability committee.
Oh, okay, you are.
Yeah. I'm a conservation commissioner. Of
Yeah,
course
of course I
I
am,
am.
yeah.
All right. We tried to keep it sort of under wraps internally till we could sort of
Yeah.
make sure we had a real thing.
Birds talk to him, so
Yeah.
I'll hear back.
Talk to me every morning.
Oh, yeah.
Birds?
That's
Yeah,
a good thing,
it's
isn't
good.
it?
Through closed windows, I can't even sleep past the.
He understands them.
Yeah.
He can talk back.
Yeah.
It's okay. Teach me that language someday.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you all for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
These are good projects. We'd like to see these.
Thank you.
Luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care.
Night. Thank you. Oh, you leave?
I like that bag.
Yeah.
Triathlon,
Everything, yeah.
little sleeve in it. More people need those.
That's a Fidelity bag.
We have, I mean, you got an overview.
How much,
kinda,
yeah?
But we're gonna talk about a chapter 11, 111 update.
All right.
If you want me, you don't have to stay. Curious? Okay.
Okay, new business, excuse me. Review of Merrimack property listing for updates for chapter 111. Take it away, Tim.
So I went through the list of all the town-owned, whether it's the town directly or through the Conservation Commission, properties that are being tracked in our parcel system. I went ahead then and I added 2 columns to what was provided to me, and that is the column that says include in chapter 111 and comments. I think I added comments. Yeah, or I added common name for the parcel. So what I tried to do, and I basically did a GIS system review as well as just tribal knowledge that I've gained over the many years of living in this town to try and provide a common parcel name so that way it makes sense to you when because 2B-2 doesn't really mean a whole lot, but if I tell you that's the the fire station, then oh, okay, I know what that parcel looks like. So I took a first stab to say, hey, include in chapter 111 don't include in Chapter 111, and then a bunch of maybes. And the maybes get mostly into a policy decision, if you want to call it that, because a lot of the maybes are backlots that happen to abut or be along Babusick Brook or other waterways. And I didn't know if we wanted to introduce something in Chapter 111 as in the town ordinance for those properties, or we want to just leave them be and wait to see if they become a problem in some way and then deal with them then, because the process to add a property to Chapter 111 is not drooling. It can be done in a couple of months, so it's not like previous to town council form of government, it would take a vote of the town to change an ordinance. So that made the process, could only happen once a year, and I'm sure if you brought it up multiple times, multiple years in a row, people would be asking lots of questions. So with the town council form of government, we can make changes in a couple of months. So in our first foray here into doing a very expansive update to Chapter 111, we may or may not want to make those changes. So I tried to keep all the properties that are currently in Chapter 111 still in there. That's 5 parcels. And then in my yeses, I tried to include a lot of properties that I know have conservation deeds or are common properties of ours that we know, like Horse Hill, Greater Woods, and a few others that aren't in Chapter 111 yet, but we believe, I think, in general, need some sort of ordinance protections. So I guess my question to all of you is that, so where we are in the process of doing this is the Commission needs to have a recommended list of parcels to include based on the limited information that we have at this point. So this would be the superset of properties, basically, is what we're trying to come up with. And then we're going to pass this to the town staff, and the town manager and her staff will also review the parcel list and either add or suggest deletions or whatever else, so we can arrive at the final superset, if you want to call it that. What we would do then, once we had the superset of parcels, is we would review deeds and other pertinent documentation to understand if there are any protections already on the properties or restrictions on the properties, what they are, and try to start doing some categorization of all the properties. So, and then take it down. We may find after we dig into some of these that we don't need to do something in the ordinance, or more information will come to light as we dig through all this. So the opposite may not happen, though, as in we excluded a property and we may never find out if, it did have something special on it, easement-wise or something else. So it might be a good secondary exercise to have someone or two just kind of do a perusal or a sampling of properties that we might think are that don't need it but could potentially have it. I don't know. That could be done on the side. So I didn't do a final count, but I think we're somewhere around 30 parcels. That doesn't necessarily mean large tracts of land. Greater Woods is made up of, 13 parcels now, or something about that at this point. So where Horse Hill is only 1 parcel, in case you didn't know. So, because once the town bought it, they consolidated all of them down to 1 parcel ID. So this is kind of where we're at. What I was hoping to get either through tonight or certainly by our next meeting is, what do we as a commission believe is the superset that we want to take to the next phase, or at least suggest to town staff. Does anyone see a no that should be a yes, or a yes that should be a no? I did bring my computer. We can bring a parcel up on the screen if you want to look at something.
It was the maybes that I
Yeah.
looked at.
Yeah.
Seemed like a couple of them seemed like they should be moved to yeses, maybe.
Okay.
Yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Or maybe yes.
Maybe yes.
Sure. Anyone in particular, or ones in particular?
Yeah. The 4B, number 47. 5C.
4B.
Yeah. Number 47.
Oh, number 47 on the list, okay, 4B116.
What do you guys think?
So I don't know if any of you realize, but we actually own what was originally thought to be a building lot on Wilson Hill Road that now connects to one of the conservation properties that we bought when we bought things from the LLC or from NASTAM, basically.
The one that's behind the houses?
Yes, the one that's behind the houses. So we now have, not only through South Greater Road, but through this parcel, we have direct connection to that big parcel down there, that 80 acres or whatever it is. So when you look at the deed for that,
Bless you.
it turns out that it was marked as part of that whole site thing as open space or green space. I forget the exact term that was used on it. So therefore, it was never built on, and it was provided to the town. My comment here was, this could yet be another potential access point to Greater Woods if we ever wanted to. I think as long as the South Greater Road's in place, though, we may not want to make that happen because it will certainly be a little more disturbing to the neighborhood if we did that. So certainly to the neighbors that are abutted
Made
on
this
the side.
a parking area.
If we made it a parking area, or even for a few cars, I would
Yep.
imagine it would create, because being right on Wilson Hill Road, I'm sure people would opt to go there and use it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so if we made that a yes, we wouldn't be able to put a parking area there. Is that what
Well,
you're saying?
If we made it a yes, then the question is do you have any restrictions in mind that you'd want to put on that parcel? Because the whole idea is to have restrictions that are enforceable through an ordinance.
Right.
If we don't think we have any restrictions we want to put on it, then maybe it's a no.
Yeah, I mean,
Right now, it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody, so, or anyone bothering Ed.
Yeah, but I hate to leave it there, just because no one's touching it, and then all of a sudden have a problem with it. And now we're can't do anything. It would seem like because they're not all the parcels are going to have the same restrictions.
Right.
There's going to be hopefully not a ton of them, but there should be a couple flavors of restrictions on here. So
yeah.
use of that parcel would be acceptable, and we'd have to just line out what's acceptable.
I mean, it should kind of go along, except for the possible parking with the rest of Greater Woods,
Right. At this point, it's better to have a large superset and then whittle it down as we get into it than it is to exclude it, because this might be the last time we even talk about it. You know what I mean? For this process.
So we're adding 47.
You can, if that's the consensus, why not?
Make it a yes?
Right. Cindy, Maya, Gina, anyone's going to comment?
No, I mean, I agree. I think we should, if it's a maybe, I think we should keep it for now. We can always say no to it later, can't we?
No, we're talking about changing it to a yes.
Oh, yeah, change it to a yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you agree?
I do.
Yeah, I was looking at, while we're right there, number 46, I was looking at that parcel. That's a weird, is that the little, it's not connected, the rest of the Riverside parcel, right?
It's not. No, it's
Yeah.
just this little piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea why the town owns this. That's why I suggested it be a no, because it's not connected
It's
to
not
our
connected
current
anything,
conservation
yeah.
property.
A couple of the lots looked like they were, like that Mayflower Road, it's that pond that, right, we have a beaver deceivers
yeah.
there and stuff. Is there, you think there's anything, just leave it?
It's been so bastardized already
Yeah.
that, what are you trying to protect? I mean, we built a dam along the backside so we could put a sewer pipe in. I mean, it's just that it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything there to protect anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's a nice pond. Pretty, but it's built
Yeah.
around 100%.
Yeah, there's so much going on there.
So there's not,
Right.
it's
Just
just-
thought I'd bring it up.
Yep.
And then I think, Tim, you mentioned all those areas behind Brookside Drive,
On Babusick Brook, yeah. Yeah, mostly, most of them are along Brookside Drive, but there are others as well. We own a whole bunch of parcels, some of them connected, some of them not, all along Babusa Brook.
Yeah.
From Mitchell Woods all the way to Wire Road.
All the way out to, almost all the way out to Wire Road, yeah, Joey, and Brookside.
Yeah.
And we've actually used it quite a bit for the trapping.
Yeah. But
Be quiet.
the question is do they need any protections in the form of an ordinance?
The main part of Mitchell and Watkins Forest, we really probably get are there's a lot. It actually gets pretty well used.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people out there,
Yeah.
but they're really local to that area. Nobody goes in parks there. I mean, it's people walking in from wherever.
Well,
And as Matt can attest to, it's loaded with deer and ticks.
yeah.
It's loaded with deer and ticks. So it's not exactly a great place to go walk.
What I was thinking is where they're gonna put the new well, those
Right.
parcels that are impacted, we probably wanna have included in the ordinance as a separate thing, because, yes, the well brings along with it restrictions, but if we put it in the form of an ordinance, now if someone violates the well or does something that could be seen to potentially violate the well, the police have something else to bring up against someone, okay?
Yep.
Even if they're just being a nuisance. Now, the police can say you're trespassing.
Which number is that?
Right?
Those are
108?
120, 120, like 120s and 130, 120, 128, 129. No. No, where am I?
Are you talking about the Brookside ones?
Oh, yeah. No, 108, you're right. 108 to 111.
To 112.
Yeah.
Those are the Brooksides.
Yeah.
But
I was looking at the
But
wrong
you're-
page.
Mitchell Woods is,
So the technical Mitchell Woods is 106,
Yep.
but there really is another lot there as well.
So that already is a yes there.
Yes.
But do you think we want to extend that to those other lots or not?
So one of them is the new lot that we recently got, which is 105, one I call a maybe. I would think if we want to protect the well, we probably want to consider that one for now.
105, yeah.
105, okay? So I would consider making that a yes, at least for now, okay? We also want to think about 103, which is Watkins Forest. It's that Watkins Forest. There are two Watkins Forests. There's one off Lawrence Road as well. But I would think 103 should become a yes, okay? I think Clearer Drive is even further downstream. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Okay,
It is.
yeah.
That's when it starts to get. Though you can get to the stream
You
from
can.
off of Clare Drive. We have a easement that goes out to the circle. I think that way.
No.
I'm going to bring up at least turn on my computer, because I'm not recalling the other parcel that we consider Mitchell Woods.
You want?
I can do that too, yeah. Just let my foot wake up again.
I like having an AV Kremlin. You have a little AV Kremlin. It just pops out. Oh, AV Kremlin. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Pay attention. Goes pay attention. You're going to go.
Correct. Oh, that sounded good. At least it wasn't in your ear at this time.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, I got some batteries, so good. There we turned this thing on since Friday. I've been so busy this weekend.
I got an open plug. You want to plug in?
No, I'm good. I have enough battery.
Okay.
It might take a second before I switch over. Looks like it's switching in.
Yep.
Look at that. That's another conservation property,
Yeah.
in case you missed that one.
Yeah.
That's looking out from the outlook.
I think that one should be a yes.
The wall pack.
I've actually seen the boreholes where they wanted to dam the Grand Canyon. You know, like they did Lake Mead and Lake Powell, right in the middle of the Grand Canyon back years ago. They did the test drilling to dam that up.
Up. Up. No, some more.
Yeah, okay. Just was looking for a,
You gotta go more towards Greater Woods, though.
yeah.
From
You're
Mitchell
right.
Woods?
Yes, you're right.
Right there. Right, you're on it.
Yeah. So that parcel that I've highlighted. So this one down here, by the way, is what's officially in the ordinance right now, which is really odd that it's this thing. This one here is not. This one is 6B224.
Is that where the well is going?
Oh no, that one is in, sorry. I got that backwards. So this one is, so the well is supposed to be situated somewhere right about where my cursor is, okay? This is Watkins Forest, okay? Which is gonna have the well radius or the zone in it, the protection zone in it. These parcels here, these two are private property. So they're gonna, they have to provide an easement for that well, okay? But we can't put protections on someone's private property, okay? So, but we have this parcel. We probably should add this one, just because it's part of the same wetland structure.
That's where a lot of the dams are.
5B132, so where is that on this? Right, oh, I called it Mitchell Woods, so that's 78.
Dick Drive?
Dick Drive, yeah, so I called that a yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I did cover that one, okay.
Where's that, since you have the map up, how do you get into Mitchell Woods?
Let me get this out
It's
of the way.
kinda hidden.
Right here. We have a gate right here.
You gotta take that
Off
Mitchell
of-
Street.
off of Mitchell
You could
Street.
drive right by it and not even know it. So you
Yeah.
really have to look hard.
Okay.
You could drive right by the gate and not even know it. 'Cause it's
Well, the gates have collapsed anyway, so.
Half.
So you can just park on Mitchell Street and just, like, if I
Just
wanted
walk
to go
in.
in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can nose right into that. That's wide enough for a car. I
Okay.
park in there all the
Check for
time.
ticks
Tie your
after.
sneakers tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Pull
Tie
your,
your sneakers tight.
pull your socks up over your pants.
Yeah.
So that wetland it's a very marshy wetland, and I think it's probably more than what you really see there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So Watkins Forest, I have that on here too, right?
Now, that's the trustees of the trust fund.
Right, I know, but we can add that to the ordinance, right? So that's 6B158. And I do.
What number is that?
That's the one that we turned from a maybe to a yes. So that's 103.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now going down that stream, we own a bunch of little properties along that stream.
Right. So just so that everyone gets a good handle. So this is the one that we got early last year, early in 17, from the homeowners association.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one that I was suggesting. That's
the Clara Drive.
This
yeah.
is the Clara Drive property, and then these
We have as a maybe.
we have as a maybe. Yeah. I mean, right now, is it a problem? I don't know. What I'm trying to do is less is more. Like, let's not introduce too many rules and restrictions if we don't really have an issue.
The only problem we have with that, and I haven't gone back to check it, is there was people dumping on it.
Ah,
And then when we were using that as an access point when we were doing the habitat study, and so that was, we noticed it, said something to a couple of people that were there watching us, want to know what we were doing on their property when we were, in fact, on our property.
yeah.
And told them what was going on, told them why. We had the Esri map up and said, "Look, see, click right here. Here's the parcel we're on. Here's where we are. This is town property." And then seemingly all that stuff was cleaned up and went away.
Oops. I got too small. Go away.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, I lost track. Oh, there it is. Okay. So going further down the brook, so do we want to turn Clara Drive into a yes for now? That'd be 102 on our list.
We know there's a history of dumping on it.
That's fine.
So yes?
We don't have to overthink this yet, okay?
Do we have, just while we're on the subject of
Yeah.
dumping, do we have anything on Joppa Hill Road? Because when I was on my way to the dump, some woman had a shovel full of stuff and she was waiting for me to drive by so she could go across the street and dump it into
You mean Joppa Road?
Joppa Road, yeah. Do we have anything there, or? I would imagine that would be frowned upon to walk across the street and throw your brush into,
Yeah, I don't believe we have any property on Joppa Road.
okay.
So dumping on a neighbor's property is what they're doing.
It looks like an undeveloped property.
Yeah, yeah, but still their neighbor.
Yeah.
I think we own that other piece.
So we
there,
own
right?
this one right here. We got this one not too long ago. Granted, it says it's the Egan's, but we own this parcel now. That's 6B159.
Because the children of
Correct, the children, yeah.
previous owner donated that.
Yeah.
They came to the meeting.
So that is 104 on our list. If you want to continue down the path, we can turn that maybe into a yes.
Yep.
I'd say
I-
yes.
That does have conservation restrictions on it. Okay. So we could at least codify the restrictions, right?
And now we start going up the backside of the brook, like right.
Right, so now we own this parcel here. This is what, 10? Is this 10 Brookside?
Yep.
Or 6 Brookside?
18.
18? Oh,
Wait.
18, yeah, right, 18 Brookside. So this is 6C27,
That's number 109.
109.
So are we gonna
I mean, if we're going to do it, we can just turn them all to yeses.
send them all to yes?
Because 10 Brookside is where we have the invasive problem.
Yeah,
So,
10 is where you
some
have the
dumping there
invasive.
too, right, or something?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I think once you get going up that brook, we own these little weird
Yeah.
little parcels.
right. So let me change the view slightly here, but so we were just looking at 18. This is 10 where we know we have a problem. Okay, this triangle piece, I'm not sure that's a real property line or not, but we own that one anyways.
20.
Okay, okay, 20. Then the town owns this one here. This is the access point. All of this back here. Okay, you see that? The town also owns this parcel right here, which actually comes out to the road. And there's actually signs there that says clean up after your dog and all that other stuff. Because I don't believe we own this one here. I think there's a house. Yeah, there's a house
there's a
on
house
that
on
one.
it.
So we don't own that one. We don't own this one. There's a house on this. There's a house on this one. Okay. There are 2 on Heritage Drive. Those are here, but they're not buildable. But they're not on the brook. I would suggest we don't include them.
No.
Okay. Those are 113 and 114, I'd like to turn those into a no. Okay?
And so 1-8 to 112 are your yeses?
Yeah.
Yeses?
I guess we're going to turn them all to yes for now, and then we'll see how it goes, right? And then
44 Brookside? Is that the town?
this one here. That's 44 Brookside, yeah.
What are your feelings on that?
See, it's not directly connected to any property we own. This is our parcel here. They have a common border.
Which way does this
It does
stream
have a,
run?
it does, that's, the stream runs.
It runs from
up,
Brookside
yeah.
into
towards
the water.
Towards the water,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's
You-
where the dump. That's where the
you-
beef dumping.
You get about here, and then the slope takes you right towards the stream. So it gets wet and all that. So 44. That's on here, correct? Yeah.
So 108 is a yes, 109 is a yes, 110 and 111 are both yeses.
Yeah.
How about 112, that's a yes?
For now, yeah.
Okay, and then 113 and 114 are both no.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
And then there's also 115.
yeah, where is 115?
C 137.
Backlot along Babusick Road.
Yeah, I think it's further down, but let's. 6C 137, 136, 7. Okay. Oops. 137 Town of Merrimack. Oh, it's this one. That's a huge one. Wow. That goes out to Joppa Road.
Were you just talking about that?
Here you go. So I guess we do.
We do.
Yeah.
But, so if you're driving down Joppa Road like you're heading to the dump, is that going
Yeah.
to be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side?
Left.
All right, so this woman was coming from the left, so I'm heading towards the dump.
Yeah.
This woman was on the left, coming over to dump on the right-hand
Yeah.
side. So that's not our lot then?
That one's not that one. No.
Okay.
This is a very large parcel with a yellow house. This is Councilor Boyd's property, and then this is part of the Willow Tree Farm. So, and the Willow Tree Farm.
I think it's past Patton, but
Yeah.
not that far. So it's probably down in that
She
area.
was probably down in this area.
Yeah.
Yep. She was dumping on her neighbor's property.
And she looked very like she's been doing it for years. She
Probably.
just was looking at me like, hurry up, I gotta dump my stuff. So,
I can't believe the town owns that, because that has a house.
That's a huge parcel.
The town owns that.
No, it's not that one. It can't be.
It's the one below it. That it says 137-1.
Yeah, all right. So it's got to be that one.
Okay, that makes way more sense,
yeah.
'cause that
Yeah.
doesn't have a house on
It's a
Yeah.
it. It's
Okay.
a back,
lot,
it's a back
yeah,
lot.
back lot.
That's what I said. It's a back lot.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that connects Kitty Corner to the that town
Yeah, to
parcel.
the town
That's a
parcel, right?
definite yes,
So that's a yes. Yeah, okay.
This, I believe, is one of those ones where the property line should be marked.
Yeah.
Is your microphone? You know, go along that property line, you know, some sort of Chapter 111 sign with a QR code so that the neighbor can go, what does this mean?
Yeah.
So they won't dump.
Okay.
Nice if we change it all name to all Mitchell Woods too. All those connecting parcels.
So the one for Clearer Drive was named after Mother. I don't know. We'd have to look at the deeds.
Yeah.
To see what the deeds allow, right? So. All right, which we'll now do, now that we've put them on the yes list. At least for right now, they're on the yes list. We'll see what the town staff comes back with as well. So, okay, you started us with the maybes. Did we have others?
Yeah, I think those were the main ones, except there, I had a couple of questions that I couldn't really find the ones
Sure.
on the Merrimack River.
We got quite a few along the Merrimack River.
Yeah, like the one, those number 130, 131
Okay, so what's the parcel ID?
off the highway. 6E.
4.
Excuse me?
6E-4.
Here's
Behind
one
the
of our
Homestead
islands.
restaurant.
Yep.
I know someone knows that one.
Yeah, I know that one really well.
Yeah.
It's
There's the island.
It's almost across the street
Yeah.
from where he romps. So
You romp.
Is that your official island?
Yeah, pretty soon there's going to be a couple hundred neighbors too.
Oh, good
Yes.
lord.
Flatly, they started construction.
Ah, they did, even
Yeah.
with the
Finally.
away?
Yeah, it's going to be a well-used beach.
they're removing a lot of the soil.
Are they? Okay, that's good to know.
They're just driving down the hill and throwing it in the Merrimack.
Yeah, that's what Lady Dirk's
So the people in Lowell will get it.
Yeah.
That lady with her shovels
It's
helping
like
them.
secret, what do they call it, secret beach? It's not gonna be secret beach anymore.
No.
All right, so that's 129 on our list. Are you saying we should?
I just was questioning it. I wanted to know more about it.
Okay.
You know a lot about that area.
Every time I'm down there, I bring a trash bag with me,
Yeah.
and I leave with it full every time. They do a lot of target shooting down there and bonfires and just drinking and things.
Okay. So is that a yes for now?
I vote yes.
I'd say.
And the one right next to it is likely
So lot 4, 64, and
6.
65? Oh, 64, 65, and 66?
yeah.
So this
Sounds
is
weird when you
6.
say it all together.
And it's in 7 also.
Sure. Huh.
Oh, that's 6. I think that's 7. All right, so we just said 129, 130.
31, 32.
I would think anything that's riverfront, we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so above that, we have 127 and 128, which are backlots along Babusick Brook. Do you want me to bring those up? Should we just go through every maybe? 60, 420,
Because if I go
429.
home now, I gotta cook
493.
493-1.
Whoa.
So that's way down. That's
I hate when it does that.
yes, I do too, obviously, as you can see. Whoops. Stop. I'm just trying to see where it is. Okay. Davis, Kittredge, Vista. Do you?
Bedford.
Mallard. Oh, this is heading towards the Everett Turnpike.
Yeah,
That's the Everett Turnpike right there.
that's Mallard, is that Mallard Point?
It's behind Mallard Point. So, I mean, if we're going to do all the back lots, we should at least, maybe we should check into them now. If we're going to protect all the property along the brook that we can.
Mm.
Is that the thought?
Yeah.
Is that consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
127 and 128.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we want to go back to the beginning and look at every maybe?
Yeah. Let's do it.
first maybe is a parcel, I don't know where it is. If it exists, it's in Pennachuck Square.
And those, I looked at those Doll Road ones, they're just parcels between lots on each side, I think.
Yeah, but they're what hold Old Kings Highway.
Oh,
And they're pretty
Kings Highway
big
goes through
too.
there?
They're 6-acre-ish parcels.
The trouble is that the protection for Old King Highway is really waned. They planning board going to build a house right over Wild.
Yeah.
So
So
the only part that's protected is that goes up behind Courier's.
And there's part of it's in Horse Hill too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once you get up like Greenleaf and up in that area, it's
Doll.
Gone.
dull.
There's some of it's still existing. There's a rock wall on either side of it,
Yeah.
and it's
You get up behind the homes, and the homeowners love it, but the homes that built down along the side of it, they just
yeah.
Right
Some
over.
of them put a couple fences. There's a
Yeah.
couple homeowners that put fences across.
yeah.
You know, but those are in that Eric Drive, Doll Drive, like in between. There was a right up the back lot lines
Yeah.
in between houses,
Yep.
and people started putting fences across, and that was just lost.
Yeah.
That's
But
too
once you get out of that neighborhood and you start going up towards Severn's Bridge, it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah. Well, they walk it. They walk it all the time.
Right. But where people put fences up, it's just kind of, there's that missing piece.
bad. Yeah.
And now there's somebody building up on top of that Greenleaf, and that one's right across
Yep.
you can see where the trail has existed for years, and now they're doing some site work. And,
That's too bad.
Well, someone could always look into the deeds and see if the deeds have restrictions.
Yeah.
we need access through your living room, sir.
Well, if it's in the deed, it's like too bad, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, if it's in the deed, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Someone should have read their own deed. So, but again, it has to be in the current deed or in a previous deed. Someone might have left it out on purpose, but that doesn't mean it goes away. We learned that from the town attorney already on another parcel that we already own. Just because someone left it off a deed doesn't mean that it's gone.
So do you have to go to Nashua to the courthouse to look at the deeds?
No, NewHampshireDeeds.com.
NewHampshireDeeds.com.
Really simple. You and I can look them up anytime we want. So. All right, so getting back to Doll Road, are these maybes yeses for now? Or no?
I would put them as yes,
Because of Old Kings Highway, or
because of Old Kings Highway. It's just a sentimental
And Old
thing.
Kings Highway is still intact, and
Can we see that on the map? Which ones they are?
Sure.
'Cause these are big. These are 6-acre pieces.
So what are they? They're
It is
2B?
2B
Or not
365. They happen to be the same. I think
Yeah.
it's probably 0 and 1 or
365
Yeah,
dash.
but you're right, it's like
Yeah,
11
both
acres
0
total.
and then
no, the
dash
top.
39.
So it's this parcel and then it's this parcel. It's these two strips together. Okay.
And where would Old Kings Highway be on it?
This is Old Kings Highway, right through
Right
here,
there.
right where I just ran my cursor through. Let me
Okay.
bring it
The
back.
skinny part,
Yep,
okay.
that's where the highway went, and it probably went right down Brecht Drive.
Really? Wow.
And you see where it connects up to that parcel that's connecting up to Greenleaf?
But this
That's the
one
one they
here.
tried to subdivide and make
Yeah.
2 lots. So
Yeah.
one was accessible from Greenleaf, and the other was like, supposedly they were trying to connect it through to Coles Rock.
So that one where the cursor is right now is the one that they're building the house on?
No, I think it's one over.
This
These
one.
two.
Okay, that one.
There's that one.
Like this one.
Yeah.
I would think that lot in between all those building lots would get a lot of potential impact from the people living on each side of it.
And that's a beautiful. You go up there and walk. It's a beautiful view.
Yeah, great.
It's a really nice spot.
Yep.
That's where Jody's house used to be, up on Greenleaf.
Yeah, but not right there.
No, not
No.
there. It was way at the end.
Those are nice.
Hers was right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Do you see the across Severance Bridge? There's a line. So like a really wide lot line on this side of Severance Bridge. Yeah, right there.
Right here,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where Cold Kings went.
Ah, okay.
And supposedly it's supposed to go right down that lot line
Yeah.
and across that kind of arrowhead.
It still
looking-
does. If you go
Yeah.
there and look up towards Greenleaf, you can see a clear
Yep.
row where that was.
Yep.
Pretty big oaks on either side, all the way up the hill. Somebody went up there and marked. They have like a Old Kings Highway
Well,
badge, like a blue badge, and they put it in trees all the way along it.
Historicals, maybe?
well, I think Heritage Commission did it, and I actually think it was one of our town employees, Scott. What was Scott's last name? He used to serve the Conservation Commission as well. Scott McPhee.
You get a field trip.
Yeah, I think Scott McPhee did that. So
Old Kings Highway field trip?
he's actually on a Conservation Commission in his new town that he lives in. Yeah. So, for he was a few years ago when I ran into him. So. Okay.
So 10 and 11 are yes, but 9 we don't know.
9 I don't think exists.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm gonna say it's a no and just be done with it.
Okay.
14, 2D.
Oh, that's down by the sewage treatment plant.
We've already got
Already got a note on that one.
a beaver.
Mast Road Wildlife Preserve.
We have a number of landscaping companies lease some of that. They put their trucks on it at night.
Really?
Yeah.
They go through the gate? We gated that property.
They leased it from the
And there's a
town.
beaver deceiver down there on the backside to keep that water at bay.
I thought the beaver deceiver was on the other side. I thought it was in this parcel here.
Yeah, I think it's on the.
Is it?
Yeah.
The trucks are on the left.
Okay.
It's really swampy on the right.
Trucks. Oh, all right. So if you're coming down Mast Road,
Trucks are on the left.
trucks they went through the gate. Oh no, they're in the next parcel down. That's where they were going to build the new liquor store warehouse. Just before the railroad tracks, or
Yeah, before the road tracks.
right just before though.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, is that
that's
Law's
private
property? Okay.
That's not Law's property. That's the competitor to Law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's private property.
That makes way more sense than it being on town property then.
Yeah. 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 This is EPA mitigation.
Yeah, that's
Wetland mitigation from Tamposi Nash and all them. So the question,
Is that the one that's also got some chemical issue? Or is that
no, I don't think so.
not that one?
No. So the question is 2D17, is it a yes or a no?
I don't know of any issues.
Yeah, I
I would say it's a no for now, right?
But what does it say? Wildlife Preserve.
That's probably what it got named when it was donated to us.
Yeah, that was from Andy's notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was donated to us by Tamposi Nash, Watson, whatever else. There's a whole slew of them. So,
Well, should we look at the deed to see why it's named that before we throw it off?
you can if you like. So, the question is it a problem right now? as
Oh,
well?
okay. Well, if it's
Right.
not a problem, then
It doesn't appear to be. Once we put the gate on it, I think kept most of the people off of it.
Okay.
I believe.
all right. So if there's no problem, then we'll say no. I mean, we still own it.
Correct.
Okay. So we'll say no.
Okay. So then the next one is the bottom of that page, 21, which is the canoe launch on, by Severance Bridge.
And everybody knows it's a canoe launch.
Yeah.
I don't really consider that open space or
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't-
I would consider that to be Matt's problem, but
Yes.
It's getting smaller every day.
Yeah. kinda-
Smaller every rainstorm.
Yeah, and I kind of consider that a no.
I consider
No?
that a no.
Yeah.
That little blast of rain we just had, there may not be anything left now.
Ooh, this one's up near you, Cindy.
Okay, so the next one is 24. This is the parcel across the street from White Pine Swamp.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little parcel. You can park there and then it's wet.
Across the street from,
It's right next to,
Yes.
the,
yeah.
That doesn't seem to be a problem, does it?
no, not with them living there.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody else moved in, they might, but, but, yeah, I'll keep an eye. I could
They're
look
good
at-
stewards of that. They're good stewards.
Mm.
I could watch that property with my binoculars.
That's this one here. This is White Pine Swamp, and yeah, you could, couldn't you? Well,
Yeah, there's,
So no on that?
I don't think it's a problem right now.
No.
It's pretty visible.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
You know, you can't really get in there and do anything without. You're right in the middle of the neighborhood. Everybody can see you. It's not like it's all wooded up and.
Right.
Next one's Old Blood Road.
So you notice on that page I included the conservation portion of Wasserman Park. And I also included Blueberry Island in the middle of Natticook Lake.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we already looked at number 47. So that takes us
Number 70?
all the way to 70. So this is Old Blood Road. That goes from Bean Road to our
Marty?
to Marty, yeah.
Oh no, it keeps going.
It crosses the
It goes.
street.
It crosses the. It crosses in front of the high. The middle
This
school.
little
this
piece is
parcel
a
here.
quarter acre, so
Right.
I'm
Well,
guessing
no,
it's that.
I would say it's a couple acres because it's really long.
It says 0.25.
Oh, okay. So what's the parcel ID so I can bring it up?
Five
B,
B.
5B 42.
Air conditioner. So you're getting it.
Oh, wow. It's like a road.
It is a road. That's all it is. It's a road.
Goes right through the turnaround of in the front of the school.
Yeah. Goes all the way down here and then it goes
Goes all the way up and all the way out the other
all
side.
the way to Wilson Hill Road.
Yeah.
So, but the portion that we're talking about is this little one here. Do we want
Just to
to?
Marty.
Yeah, just to Marty. Yeah. Oh, stop it.
There was a developer that wanted to use it as a road again. I don't know where that. It left us. They came in front of us. Spoke about a subdivision.
Yeah, right there, right under the spinning clock.
Yeah. I got the thing in a bad state. I bet you it won't recover. But
That parcel right there. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, that one. That's a big old farmhouse. They own all that property.
this one here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
actually,
what I know you're
Subdivide
talking
for
about.
3.
Used to be horses there years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. They've
So-
cleared a lot of the woods.
Yeah.
So there's multiple lots in there now.
Yeah, there is.
3.
So that parcel we can't put restrictions on anyways because the town council and everyone's already given it up.
Right.
So that's a no.
That's the long and the short of it.
So don't waste our time with that
Well,
one.
it was a class 6 road, so
Yeah, it's. I
Or
thought
still
it
is.
still is.
yeah. So,
So it's got its own set of restrictions on it.
because of being a class 6 road,
Right.
yeah.
For the time being, I still use it
Why not?
because
Well,
it's a road.
So it'll never go right as long as it's a road. Anyone can use it. It's just going to be someone's driveway as well. Is really what I think that whole process ended up being.
You bike down there?
Yeah.
There's a few trees down by Bean Road there. At least there were. Yeah.
No problem.
No problem.
That's just,
Sorry.
that side's fun.
I forgot my road bike won't go over those
Nothing
trees.
stops man.
That's just like entertainment
Yeah.
for Matt.
Yeah.
You do
I'm
freak
not-
people out when you go straight across, though.
Yeah, I'm sure you
When there's
do.
a car behind you and they're like,
Yeah.
That'll don't think my century handles will even help me go over some of those things. Century bars. All right. Where are we next?
6, it's 5C-850.
So I think we talked,
One on Mayflower Road.
Yeah, I think we talked about that
Oh,
already.
we already talked about this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nine. Oh, we did.
yeah.
So did we decide on that
So our
one?
consensus was a no.
And now, okay.
Then we go down to the next one.
6A-13.
School district. Is this the backside of?
Was this by,
6A.
6A dash, which one?
13. Samuel J. Drive.
So that's probably the backside of their wood lot at the turn of South Babusick Lake.
Yeah, so this is Babusick Lake Road. This is the school parcel
yep,
where there's been logging, and then this is the town parcel right here. I don't believe we have direct road access, do we?
No, you got to go through the
Or you have to go through the school parcel?
L-shaped piece.
Yeah, you have to go through the school parcel to get to it, so what's the thought?
I think they should both be protected.
If we manage it too.
So to do the school property, we would have to get school board approval on that, I would imagine, which may require a vote of the school district.
and their support,
Yeah.
because that's one of the places they're thinking of fields.
Right, yeah, athletic fields were mentioned there. Someone thought about building on there when they were looking for a place for a school. Right now, they just forest it every 15 years, so.
So is the thought to let them protect it?
Oh. So this is another one of those parcels that we own that's landlocked. It's fairly wet, and it doesn't
I've
seem to
never
be a
been there.
problem, right?
So close, I've never been there.
But we might own this one as well, now that I think about it. Hitching Post Lane. Was this the one that's already in conservation?
Yeah,
6B85, that's already in Chapter 111, isn't it?
I think so. It should post lane.
6B85 you have as a yes?
Yes, currently in Chapter 111.
Yeah, interesting.
It's double the size. The other one's double the size of that one.
What's 6A85
So here's the
though?
two parcels together, you see that?
They don't quite touch.
They don't quite touch.
We
Is
do.
6A85 near there?
What's stopping that from touching? Is that the
School
School?
district, yeah, the school district land is stopping them from touching. So we already protect one of them, so does that now mean we want to protect the other ones since they're that close to each other?
Is 6A85 the one that's in between the two?
Nope, 6A16.
Oh, that's the school.
Yeah. Okay, so the discussion started here,
6A13.
6A13, yeah, -9.
Has anybody walked that lot lately?
No,
No.
I walked that, oh, it's gotta be 8 to 10 years ago now. It was before the school last logged their parcel, so.
There's a couple of streams that you can't hop over
Okay.
in there.
So if we can't get to it and it doesn't seem like anything's wrong, then we can probably just leave it as a no? No problems?
That would be my preference.
All right. So that's 97 now.
Okay. So now 98 is 6A85. We want to see where it is?
Yeah.
1-1. Oh, that's this little thing with a wetland in it.
Yep.
Let's see
I
where it
wonder how
is.
many people put stuff in there.
And that connects to that piece.
That's
right
across the street from the one that we do protect.
That's on, that we protect, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe we should consider that a yes.
I would, especially if
of them?
people are dumping in there.
Or just
Oh, just because it's already in chapter 111, do we want it in chapter
Well,
111?
that's the next question I was going to ask.
You know, does hitching post lane need to be in there?
we don't know of any problems, but we haven't been there in 8 years.
Hitching Post Lane, I haven't been on at all.
Yeah.
I was on there whenever we did the beaver survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the last time. That's the last time we went over there. Trace and I schlepped through there. It's muddy and yucky and
Yeah.
So I shouldn't wear my sneakers there.
no.
So do you want to suggest taking Hitching Post Lane off?
That was one of the sections I think that we were looking at, and I haven't been back down there, so it may be an issue again. That we were thinking of maybe having to put a emergency device.
Yeah.
Because they were building right at the outlet of that, where the property starts to
Culvert.
open up. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a culvert? There must be a big culvert
Under the
under
road.
Steeplechase. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a parcel that gets used,
Yeah.
very much.
I'm sure the neighbors do if anyone does.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of dumping then, but I mean, you don't know. We have to go back and look at it.
All right. So we gonna you want to leave it
on there?
leave
Take
it on?
off? What are we doing?
Hitching Post Lane. It got put on there by a vote of the town at some point. So until we understand why, or I would say we don't want to take it off without at least looking at its deed or understanding it. So
Okay.
the question is, do we want to? The parcel across the street wasn't included. So did we leave that one off?
Are we still on 98, which was
Still on
Woodward Road?
98.
Okay.
So
It's very, very water connected
Yes,
to,
exactly. It's
to 99.
Yeah,
all right.
like almost as though Steeplechase Road probably shouldn't have been built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
It doesn't look like it has a house on it.
We want to make 98 a yes then?
I believe so.
Yes.
yep, I think so.
We already went through the whole next page.
Yeah.
And
This takes us to Watkins Forest, 138.
Chapter 111
Gold?
blanket does not allow motorized access.
Correct.
Watkins
Well,
Forest.
it doesn't allow OHRV access. It does allow snowmobile access.
Watkins Forest is heavily populated by dirt bikes and quads.
Yeah.
isn't it near that ATV park?
No, it's behind Continental Boulevard.
No, that's not what we're talking
No,
about.
Watkins Forest.
This is
Ah,
on the
this
way to
up
the
top
transfer
of-
station.
Okay.
Up by Lawrence Road, but there's that ATV park up on Lawrence Road, isn't
Right.
there?
Mm.
Is that what you're talking about? Or?
No.
No, that's
No.
not what I was talking about.
No, you were
I'm
talking
thinking
about
of Gilmore
Gilmore Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is already in
Mm.
chapter 111.
Interesting.
Yes. So yeah, ATVs are not allowed out there
Interesting.
by ordinance.
Already.
All right.
It's easy to follow them home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we here?
Okay. All right, so what do we want to do with this Watkins Forest? The other Watkins Forest was close to where the new well's going to go, which is why we said a yes for
Yeah.
now. Does this one also become a yes, or is it really not an issue and we're just going to leave it alone?
And this is a school district.
Now, this is owned by the town and
Trust.
managed by the trustees of the trust fund with all proceeds going to the school district.
Interesting.
Interesting arrangement. Yes, Mr. Watkins wanted to leave a legacy to the school district, and that's the path he took to do it.
So how does he get money?
They forced it.
Forced it.
Oh, okay.
It's a
okay.
town. It's a tree forest, designated tree forest, and they cut every 15 years or whatever on it.
Okay.
Relative to the transfer station, where is it?
It's before you get to the Barnes's property. It's on the right-hand side, just before you get to that corner that takes you past the Barnes property.
Okay, so people hunt in there.
People hunt in there,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Do they want that to be a no?
I'd
My
call that a
opinion
no.
is a no, because it doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
bothering anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd call that a no too.
$150.
150 is Riverfront.
So yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I'd put that a yes.
That's
Oh,
a
look,
small.
it's Karen Street.
With the C?
Yeah, it's Matt Street.
Yes.
That was,
It was.
yep.
That's what you were
Grandpa or
telling
something?
us.
That Karen Street to Karen Ave in Nashua.
And the Sklar property.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so I turned the Sklar property to a yes automatically. I'm assuming you would
Yes.
Yes.
accept by that. Okay. So
155.
the question is yeah. So there is another one on Griffin. Small parcel was okay. That's one. Yeah, that first Griffin Street is a no on purpose because it's like 50 feet square.
It's the cemetery. Oh, okay.
Oh, I see why. Okay.
So it's-
Is it? No, I guess it's 0.76.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's actually bigger than that. Sorry, but it has a wastewater or something.
That's a little house right there.
Yeah, it's a
The chain link
built-
fence.
yeah. So it's not open space.
and it's on the wrong side of the tracks. I mean it like that.
Because you know where? Because you grew up on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Okay. So 155, I don't think I could actually put my finger on it, and it's marked as 0 acres, so I don't think it actually exists, or not sure.
Yeah, wow, there's like 3.
Hmm.
So do we want to just research that more? Do we want to just say
We could research it.
you can,
I'll try.
if you
I'll
don't
try.
mind,
Sure.
right?
That will be a good project for me.
So I took a guess to think that it maybe at one point was part of 5D1-11. Not to be confused with 5D-1-11. It's 5D1. Okay.
So that one
Get that.
maybe.
You said it was, so you're guessing that it's
I'm guessing,
5D1, okay.
Yeah, but this is one of the ones that Gage and
Yeah.
you went around
Yeah,
with
yeah.
NRPC.
Yeah, we couldn't really seem to track it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see what I can find.
Okay.
I'd say I was completely diligent about that either, but
Okay. So the next maybe is Front Street. That's the Depot Street boat launch, where we had the recent shooting.
Oh, yeah.
It's the all three of those parcels,
Yeah.
I believe, are very similar to the one with like the island.
Yeah.
They're on the other side of on the river side of the tracks.
No, not these
Front
three.
Street.
No. So the first one is the boat launch, which goes
Under.
under the tracks all the way out to the river. Right. That's one of them. But the other two are right along Front Street itself. Yeah. It's a really weird setup. Let me bring it up.
This is Front Street
You'll
that's,
scratch your head when you see this.
Hmm.
At least I did.
this is Front Street that's way up by the Dunkin' Donuts and the,
Front Street starts by Tractor Supply.
yes,
And goes all the
That's
way
it.
to
yes, all the way down to
Depot
the
Street.
river.
Oh.
Yeah, London Court's in there,
It's a
and
little weird
Yep.
little.
yeah,
It's behind the 55 plus.
Yep.
or behind or in front of. I
Well,
think it's
they're every
front of.
Tuesday.
In front of it.
Yeah,
Well, they're every Tuesday.
between London Court and the 55
Oh,
plus.
okay.
I lived on Front Street for a while. The house that I lived in is for sale if anyone really cares.
Tim Tenhafe Historic Property.
There you go. It's got to be worth more.
That's right.
Yeah.
Will Tim's eyes be there?
I should.
Paint the dome, paint it gold.
I must have put that on 5D-2, right? I don't see Town of Merrimack in there.
So the 5D2.
It's 2-7.
That'll be a yes.
5D-2.
Or is that 5D
Dash 7.
dash 7? Ah, that's it. That's where they. So let me bring it out.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the tracks, along the river.
You're right.
Full of trails.
Bet that's a
Yeah.
hopping place on a Saturday night.
Yep. And the other one's right below it. It's very, very similar.
All right, so those are ones that we should investigate then. Is that what you're telling
so
me?
we'll put those as yes.
And the other island that's right off shore there, they show half of it
Tip.
as. Okay. Half of it's Merrimack.
Right,
Half
half
of it's
is
Litchfield.
Litchfield.
Litchfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to keep that.
That's
Right.
an interesting island.
Yeah.
Can you get out to that one?
Yep.
How? You swim?
Yeah, you got a boat or.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of activity on that one.
So we'll.
It's just like how people boat out there. They get out there.
Yep.
They get their own sovereign little state.
The brick casino on there.
They're really.
I can't find the other.
I'm just kidding.
I must have found it at one
Where's
point.
Terry going again?
Well, so the waterfront properties. If we just said that we're just going to take the waterfront properties and make them a yes.
Yeah, I guess we're
So
going to do
there's
that for
3
now.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think one of these, maybe the one with the 00C002.
That's the weird one, I think.
I think that one is below the power station on the Front Street side of the railroad tracks. So if we can just look for it.
It's 4 acres though, isn't it? 4.5 acres? A lot of acres.
It might be the one up from 15, yeah.
I'm just trying to bring it up for right now.
I
You
think
think
it
this?
might
Oh,
be.
I know where the one I'm trying to find. I think it's this. Is this? No, that's Merrimack. That's MVD's. It's this one.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's that one. We probably. I mean, that's right next to the well, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's one that we want to worry that we want to do anything about.
That one sees a
Forward.
lot of motorized activity.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
That does. Yeah.
Because they go in, they park at Tractor Supply, and they go through the power line transfer station,
Yeah.
and they just cruise around in that.
So that one's 158, the one that's like 4.5 acres?
That's 158. Yeah.
All right, so we don't want it, we want that one to be a no? Matt wants it to be a yes. Kim's not convinced.
Right.
Selling the town and
Okay.
law enforcement on that one might be a little difficult.
That's next to the well, so we should probably
All right,
at least
we'll
look
leave it a
into
yes.
it, right?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So are there any no's that should be yeses or any yeses that should be no's?
I can look at those.
You know this town better than I do, but
Okay, I tried not to filter too much and tried to add things in because I was thinking superset and we could always whittle it down after.
Question that's unrelated, but you said something about Tinker Road. Do you remember on Tinker Road when you just get on the long side of Tinker Road? So you're heading down towards Nashua, like 2 houses down on the left-hand side. There used to be a little fishing game there about 20 years ago that you remember.
Tinker
or a
Road
little
from
shooting or something.
Continental Boulevard?
Yeah.
There's a couple of houses on the
It's
left-hand
like
side.
2 houses, and then my husband said he could swear that there was like a something.
Little
He thought
gun
it was like a
club or
little fishing game
we,
or something.
we own that parcel right down there.
You did own that parcel.
We own a parcel there. The town owns a parcel in there.
Oh, you do? Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe that's the one he's thinking of. Okay.
I know the back lot there is now, there's an easement for the Society of Protection of New Hampshire
Yes,
Forests.
yeah.
They have a giant easement out back there.
And that was one of the things, because at one point, Kinder Morgan wanted to put the pipeline down
Yeah.
where we own that, not with it, well, probably where
Right.
the
And
forest
then,
thing is.
and then
but-
they wiggled it around the the protection of, their easement,
Yeah,
Yeah,
to the
'cause-
detriment of our other property.
right. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here it
Thank you, Tim.
is. Yeah, just trying to highlight the parcel. So we own this little parcel here
Okay.
on Tinker Road, so it's, or is it this? No, maybe it's that one. Yeah, that's the town of Merrimack. I don't know, did I, 2C48, what did I say on that one?
2C?
I said no.
Yeah, you have no wet
Because
parcel along
it's
Tinker.
kind of its own one, because this one is owned by Southwood Corp. This one's owned by, Southwood, or otherwise known as Pennachuck.
Now, on the other side, too. The other side is owned,
It's for sale, or did it get bought? Because that's the
I don't
house they took
know.
down.
Oh.
yeah,
Right now, we say it's owned by Pennachuck.
okay.
This database is not recent, so you have to really go in and double check any of these, okay? Because, it just hasn't been kept up to date. You have to go to the assessing department and look up the parcel ID, and then that is only guaranteed to within the last 6 months. If the parcel
Okay.
changed in the last 6 months, that may not be accurate as well, because it takes time from things to go from when they recorded it at the registry to when they make it back to the town.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
the town needs to know who to tax.
Makes sense.
So, well, they probably need to know other things, but.
No, that summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So is this a good list? Do we want to look at this one more time? Do you want to, you tell me.
I think we're gonna have, by default, the fact that it's going to go in front of town council, we're gonna have a little bit more time to play with it, so.
We are. So the goal of the next step then is to pass it to town staff and say, this is what we believe the list is.
Okay.
So I can do that, and I can send it electronically. I'll CC you guys so you all have it,
And
with corrections made.
do we envision that when we hand it over to town staff, they're going to start pulling deeds?
No. Well, they might, but what we envision is that town staff's gonna review it and make their own recommendations, to maybe ask some of our yeses to be nos, some of our nos to be yeses, and then we will negotiate to the superset that we're gonna go forward with. And then we'll start pulling deeds. Now, if someone wants to pull deeds in the meantime because they question a parcel, go right ahead.
Yep.
But that wouldn't be part of the official stuff.
So I just want to make sure I understand, because you know me, I get cloudy with stuff like this. So we're only saying yes if we think it's a parcel that we might have a problem with somewhere down the line and we need to step in?
Yes, we're saying yes because we think it's a parcel we might have to include in Chapter 111.
Okay.
Okay, which would then put an ordinance on the parcel and make any rules enforceable by the police as a violation.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So it's not, maybe not just necessarily parcels that we feel we're gonna have a problem with, but it's just ones that are important.
Okay,
Like surrounding the well,
right.
things like that, that you're just like, yeah, you know what, it's just, you gotta be a little smarter when you're here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and I would think anything near water,
Yep.
rivers, streams, brooks.
Yeah, I mean, the restriction might be very simple there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, no dawn to dusk and all the other things that we have,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, should we look at it one more time at the next meeting before we send it off, or just to go through and kind of sleep on it, or are we good? We're good? Okay.
Do you feel you need more time to look at it?
I don't know the parcels like you
Okay.
guys do, so you know me. I'm the one that
Shoeless Joe.
proofreads stuff, huh?
Shoeless Joe.
you know how to start looking at them if you
I
want.
do now.
Right?
I do now.
Just go on and plug it in and poke
Okay.
around. You can change the view to aerial view so you can see a picture of it
Okay.
from on top.
Okay.
So, and then I'm happy to show you how to look stuff up in New Hampshire deeds if you ever want to do that too.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that.
It's really simple once you know the
Yeah.
couple clicks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so then I will, like I said, I'll update this with our corrections and I will send it off to staff and hopefully in a few weeks we'll get some feedback from them. One other thing, next week I meet with the library staff to talk about the research that they volunteered to do.
Yep.
I'm going to send them this list as well. So when I'm speaking to them, they can have an idea of things, maybe do their own homework, but I'll be very clear that this is not the list that they should be going to work on. This is
Preliminary.
a preliminary one, just to give them an idea of what it is we're doing. So, and then I will sit with them and let them know what we would need for research, and then they can tell us whether or not they can do it or not. So
Okay.
that would be great if they can. So, and I'd like to capture as much of this electronically as possible.
Do you want company at that meeting? Because I know I had said that I would try to help out with this as much as I can, or do you want to?
You're welcome to.
Okay, what day is it? You can email me.
Yeah,
You can email me.
it's the 26th at 3 o'clock.
Is it a Friday?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So I was told to go up to the main desk and ask for the director. The meeting will be somewhere inside, outside the public.
Sounds good.
That's all I got.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. All right.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. If I had to sit here and watch this, I'd fall asleep.
Oh, there we go. That'll help.
All right, that kind of sums up new business, unless anyone's got anything else they want to bring up. No. Old business? Good.
I have
Was,
one thing.
okay.
On something that we were discussing last meeting, the bike demos
Yep.
that were at Horse Hill. The first one went off well, without a hitch. They said thank you, appreciated the time. They had 50 people over the course of the day, and they asked to move and split the second one.
So is that the one they sent us an email about?
Oh, there was an email. Maybe they sent it to everybody, and I just thought it went to me.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing an email.
Oh, well, maybe I should.
Maybe it just went to you, or maybe I forwarded it to you. It was so it was supposed to be the
yeah, whoops.
22nd.
I think that went to everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
It was supposed to be the 22nd, and they want to move it to the 29th for the first day, and then August 11th for the second day.
Where do they want to move? Oh, just move the dates?
Just move the dates, yeah. They had scheduling.
Yeah, August 11th. This is the day. This is. How do you say his name? Rick Honenberger.
Yes.
So July 29th?
July 29th and August 11th.
So there were a lot of cars. They were parked up and down Amherst Road.
Oh, that day?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Was the parking lot full?
Well, people weren't parking in the parking lot. I couldn't tell you if it was full.
I remember putting something up on in the outdoor page. So if you send me the more details, then what I'll do is I can put it up each
So
time.
my concern is the cars don't drift into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm being slightly selfish because my neighborhood is just up the street, but there's a lot of neighborhood traffic already. Just want to make sure the cars don't end up in the neighborhoods.
Okay.
That road's become quite a thoroughfare.
Well, that's the other part, is that road's very busy, so I'm not sure if the police department would have some comments on the parking situation. Or at least we want to make sure the cars only park on one side of the street.
Or pull into the parking lot.
Yeah, or pull into the parking lot, right. Yeah,
That parking lot can hold 60 cars.
yeah, because they were all the way down to Fuller Mill Road and then all the way to heading past Listoka's. It was just full.
So I wonder if people just saw that there were people parked and thought, oh, it must be full, I'll park here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I don't know
the
either. I wasn't
bikes
there.
I don't know.
don't take up the whole parking lot, right?
Do we want to say that from now on they have to hire a police officer detail to for the parking and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if the police have a problem with it.
Could be where they were parked in the lot.
Yeah.
Maybe they were parked towards the front, and they should have been towards the back or something.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't even dare go in. It was just that busy.
Wow.
Well, if they split it in half, is it the same traffic both times, or is it half of the?
I think that's what they're looking for.
I think they're
is-
hoping for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just not put it on Facebook. I mean, they clearly are doing a good enough
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
job.
Yeah. I don't think we need to help advertise.
think
Yeah.
we need Facebook's help.
I don't know if it did or it didn't, but
No.
Well, are you in touch with this guy, Rick?
Yes.
Right. I just forwarded it out to everybody. So. And if you want to respond to him.
I would just ask them to encourage people to pull in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Pull in the parking lot,
Yeah.
right? Because the parking lot should be big enough.
should be. Nice parking lot.
Especially, I saw the Ibis trucks were like way in that back corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I will agree. But the vehicles that looked like they were housing things was way in the back, but people, yeah, I don't know. It's hard in that parking lot because there's no stripes, right?
We talked about when we were talking about expanding it, putting a couple logs down
Mm-hmm.
and make it all head-in parking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, when there's just an open parking lot,
Yeah.
somebody will come in and park in the middle and just make, a whole big section of it useless.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Maybe that's the encouragement to them. It's like, oh, if it gets busy, please
Direct people.
have someone in there directing traffic for parking.
Mm.
So they know to tighten it up.
The two companies that are coming in, they're smaller, boutique-y type brands. But, somebody could want one of those. So.
Even more than $11,000?
Yeah, right. That's crazy. Crazy stuff. And that's probably why they get such a big turnout.
Did you guys, are we done with the bikes? Did you want to take advantage of that for the Scalar property signs, the $400?
Yeah, I thought that's what you passed along to him.
Well, we have to purchase the signs, and you see the last email? And then,
Okay.
and then
I
they
misunderstood.
want the bill to go directly to the river
Okay.
works or whatever. They want they want to be billed directly. Did you see that in the email?
No, I think I misunderstood that. Well, sure, okay. We can, that seems a little odd.
As long as the vendor wants to accept.
Yeah.
Right, that's the problem.
Can we get them, can we get a PO from them, a PO number or something?
I can ask.
Yes, yeah, sure, we can do, we can try to anyway, but,
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause the vendor, I'm assuming we're going through the sign guy that we've dealt with already?
Classic signs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that? I sent that email to the two of you there.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't,
They wanted to be, like, have the bill for the signs sent right to them.
right, so Classic to bill them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would.
I'm sure he would. I mean, it's not like we're gonna run out on him. He knows that. I mean,
He's-
we're not gonna leave him hand strangling.
So,
Classic is right now signing all of Amherst's trails. So they're doing a lot of work with Amherst's trails. If you've seen it, they're going for like a uniform look with all their signage
Yeah.
and, you know, doing all their kiosks with a similar style and
Yeah.
feel.
so we'd have to come up with what we think we need, and
Right.
maybe you could go over there and,
All right.
and then
And maybe even
up
taking
around $400.
taking one of the employees from Classic over there and saying, you know, here's our budget, here's what we're looking to do, here's some of our other property. I don't know if that's a good idea, but
Do they really need to see it?
maybe we have him design, you know, because they do a really good job with that. You know, I know he went to some of the properties in Amherst and gave them suggestions, and it turned out to be like, I think their signage is just,
I think
Really
they
good.
need a couple of large signs, large, difficult to remove signs.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah,
I mean,
so,
we may be able to even have them do a sign that doubles as like a kiosk in the front.
yeah, you know, I was looking at the minutes, maybe not a bad idea to stick and you were talking about where to stick a kiosk. At least that gives people an idea that, hey, something's happening.
Yeah.
Right there at that head, where they took our signs down?
Yeah, that's
You mentioned that last meeting, I
a
think.
couple of metal posts
Yeah.
with the, you know, Scholar Waterfront Park.
Or conservation area.
Mhm.
Right? Don't use park.
Yeah.
'Cause then people want to know if they have to pay a fee to go in.
Like what? Like
Someone
Wildcat?
asked that the
Oh,
other day
yeah.
about Wildcat.
Yeah.
Did we come to an
Oh,
agreement
right.
with them, with the family?
They want the name in there. I don't think they really were.
Scholar Waterfront, yeah, I think they might have said park, but I don't think, I think as long as their name is in there,
Scholar Waterfront Conservation Area?
I think I'm sure they'd
Scholar
find
Waterfront
it.
Reserve.
Or riverfront.
Scholar Riverfront.
The big thing was they wanted their name, you know.
Well, you and I work on talking with Classic
Okay.
and coming up with some sort of,
Yeah, because I don't know how open-ended, how long we have or anything, you know.
yeah. Okay, let's group up on that then.
Okay.
Should we make a motion for us to work together and come up with some signage, roughly $400, maybe not to exceed 500, and
Hope of reimbursement.
yeah.
I thought we already did that.
Well, this budget, this 400 of
Yes, yeah,
the
that was that.
budget is coming from somebody else now.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it, but now we can bill somebody else.
Yeah, do we? Yeah, I sure. I'll make a motion to have Matt and Mike work together with Classic Signs to generate some signs for Sklar waterfront property. And it's going to be not to exceed $500. And we should be able to bill the waterfront. What's the name of Riverfront.
Riverworks, I don't know, I forget.
So the verbiage on the sign, Scholar Riverfront Conservation Area?
See,
I think it's been being called park, unfortunately, but, right? No.
I don't think we ever really named it officially.
Yeah.
well, see, the thing is going in, there's 2 parcels of land.
Boat ramp.
Yeah, the town parcel, and
Right. I don't think we want to put a name on it right now.
It's hard to make signs without a name.
No, but I think it's going to
Well,
be.
these are, no motorized.
No motorized. No.
Well, and some of them with an environmental message.
Yeah,
Sure.
protect our water, protect the waterfront.
Okay.
Merrimack River, protect the water source type thing.
And we could
No,
do
no
some other,
motorized vehicles or something
we
like
could
that.
do some other notices too, if we had the police cooperation, or something.
Where's the money
Please
coming
take
from?
notice.
Yeah. Huh?
Where's the money coming from? You made the
Oh,
motion.
it's coming from the Riverworks,
Okay.
the people who put me in touch with the tire recycling place.
Okay. Cool.
They're from Colorado. I'm sorry I don't have their exact name
That's
in
okay.
front of me.
Well,
I just-
in
for
the
the-
minutes, you call it Riverworks Printing.
Yeah, that's not, no way I said printing.
Okay.
I have that. It's no way I said Riverworks Printing.
Okay.
I was just thinking of putting it in for the purpose of the motion. To say where it's coming from.
It's a river keepers or river.
I don't have that folder, I don't think.
It's okay.
As long as we understand it's not from Fund 53.
Right, exactly.
I left that folder at home.
Yeah, there will have to be another motion at some point in time if they fail to pay, then we're gonna have to go back and fund the
River
purchase.
Network?
Yeah, might be River Network.
River Network?
You had their email?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Because I forwarded you their email,
Yep.
rivernetwork.com or.
Yeah.
Right. You need a second?
We do.
Second.
Second by Gina. All those in favor? Passes.
Sure.
6-0-0.
Spend someone else's money.
Yeah. Right, so you have an NTE of $500 to go chase down. Unless they want to buy a lot more.
Oh, and just don't forget that I have the thank you letters, if you guys can sign them
Yeah.
out right after the meeting.
Yeah, we got that.
Does anybody want a scout update? Or do you wanna do that?
We're going into old business still?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Sure.
Okay. So, I messaged Jack Elliott, and he said he's about to do his fundraising on the 9th, which would have been the June 9th that passed his bake sale. And then he said he'll have his first couple of work days in early July. He's gonna contact me as it gets closer, and he'll let me know when he needs the gates opened. So that's Jack. And then we had, Joan Lord contacted Cindy,
Mhm.
and she is the one that wants to do the walking sticks for Horse Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Brigham Parker contacted Matt, and you were gonna talk about the outdoor classroom.
That's our classroom. And I guess I have a question on 2 scouts. Are you done with your scout?
No, I have one more. This is, I apologize to him because I'm gonna butcher his name, and I'm going to correct it in the minutes. It's Siddhanth Dhanaraj, and he wanted to meet with me last Tuesday. I wasn't available. I let him know that the protocol is basically, rather than meeting with me, let me know if he's got a specific property, if he's got something that he wants to do. So he's supposed to be getting back to me with that. I had suggested to him a bridge at Wildcat Falls. I could also suggest to him the kiosk. We need more scouts.
Fitness trail.
The fitness trail.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Okay, so right now we have basically 3 projects on the table for scouts available. So I will keep you posted on when he gets back to me.
Okay, thank you.
So, Brigham. I met with Brigham last week. He is looking to take on the outdoor classroom.
Wonderful.
Great.
He has some great ideas for it. Slightly different than the last scout that was looking at that project. I guess my question is, do we want to send him before the subcommittee, or do we want to just have him come to us, seeing as though the subcommittee has already seen a number of presentations on the outdoor classroom? What's the pleasure of the commission there?
Is the subcommittee very opinionated about it, or will the subcommittee defer to us? Do they?
Oh, he has to come here anyway?
He has to come here anyway.
He's got to come here anyways. So the subcommittee's an active group, construction-wise.
Mhm.
So like, seem to know what they're talking about.
Okay.
But if he's got some plans, I'd like the subcommittee to at least see it.
Okay, then
Yeah.
because he and Carson Petrie,
Okay.
his brother did the bridges on Drilled Rock.
Yep.
He's also looking to present. They both want to present to the town in whatever fashion we would like very quickly. They want to do it soon.
When's the next?
July, late July.
With the subcommittee, we can try to do a special meeting.
That's kind of the problem that I'm having too, is because sometimes
Yeah.
the subcommittee meetings are so far out and the scouts want to get moving on
Yeah.
things.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. That's where we agree to front load these things in the wintertime, or in the late fall or something like that. So comes this time, they can just be moving along.
Yeah.
So if you remember, Carson already came in front of the subcommittee.
Right.
So I think Carson's next step is definitely here, and he has his notes, and he's getting on the agenda for the next meeting for us.
Which is the second.
Yeah. So he's reached out to town staff to get on the meeting for the second.
Okay.
However, I haven't advised Brigham yet what to do, as far as, do we want to have a special meeting? Do we want to invite him on the 30th for our work day? And then have him go to the meeting on the 2nd?
Has he got plans written out?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we could probably just distribute them to the
To the subcommittee?
Yeah, and get a first pass, and then have them come right here.
Okay.
Distribute them on the work day that you're having?
No, we could distribute them via
Oh,
email.
email.
Via email.
Send them to Steve and have them send them out.
Because everybody from the subcommittee
Yeah.
is very in favor of the outdoor classroom,
Yes.
and they've seen a number of
Yeah.
scouts present it.
Yep.
So I felt like, yes, I want the subcommittee to see it, but
That's a
it's
good
going
solution.
to be met with resounding yes, like it has in the
Oh,
past.
I think it will. But I mean,
Suggestions.
Yeah, Nat picks things apart pretty well and says, "Oh, you know what? You about this," and like, "Oh, that's a good idea." And so I just like to be able to tap those resources when we have them.
So as part of it, they'll meet with the subcommittee, they meet with the MCC. I'm trying to remember, do they also have to meet with the town council?
And not unless it's on the town's property.
Oh.
That is.
That is.
That's
yeah,
town property.
The outdoor classroom is. The benches, he's picked places that are on commission property.
Okay.
So, okay, now I'm gonna sound really stupid and ignorant, but Wildcat Falls, Wasserman is not town property, is it?
It is.
It is.
Well, it's Parks and Rec, some of it.
Okay.
That's town.
How about Wildcat Falls?
It's town property. We manage.
All right. And Greater Woods is
Both.
It's a mix.
Pieces and parts.
Yeah, predominantly.
Horse
Managed
Hill
by us.
is
All
town
town.
property.
Yeah.
So basically, all of them are town property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they all have to meet with the town, then, really.
Greater Woods probably the most that doesn't.
There's a chance that Greater Woods that he don't.
The classroom does. The parcel the classroom's on is town property, but there's so much more of that parcel that isn't. That was directly through the.
Scalar River waterfront,
Sklar.
whatever we want to call it, is more conservation town.
That's not, because we used our money to buy
Hey,
that.
That's Yeah, conservation.
But-
But
So
then
as
the
long
boat
as
ramp,
long as the
on the
project's
right.
only happening
Boat
on the
ramp
Skull Ave
is
parcel.
town.
But the kiosk would go at the beginning,
Which is town.
might necessarily, that's town.
Where does that start? On the right side of the road? Where does this
I think all the
start?
road.
If you're on the...
Every dirt piece is town.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
technically, there's one bend in it that touches our property. If you
Just
look-
past the bridge, probably.
Okay, cool.
Right.
That's fine.
So if Sidhunt
Road off our property.
is anxious to
That's
get
good
going
stuff.
now because, you know, we're already getting into
Yep.
the summer, could he come and meet with the town the Wildcat, depending on if he chooses Wildcat Falls, we meet then in July. But if he chooses something else and we've already had the subcommittee, could he come here and present here first, or he needs to do the subcommittee first?
I would like input from the subcommittee, so,
Okay.
so whether he needs to meet with them or not, but if it's, again, if we're gonna be way pushing out a date, way out, if he's got some formal plans,
Okay,
have him submit it, so we can get it to the subcommittee members and get their input,
okay.
and we can try to short circuit as much of the time wasting as
Sounds good.
possible.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, that's all I have for scouts.
All right, so I sent you out a quick email earlier today, because I meant to do it a while ago and completely forgot. Have anyone got a chance to read it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the...
So, there's a gentleman, I'm not going to try to say his last name, I'm not going to get it right. He started an effort called Regreen Springfield, and it's out in Western Mass. And he's a professor at UMass. He's doing this Regreen Springfield. He's created a couple of apps, and there's one iTree app that does, I'm not going to try to explain. It goes through and generates a list of where trees will survive and the types of soils, and it takes the GIS mapping and figures out what's going to survive where, and it's all in the purpose for urban forestry. And it's interesting. I just found it interesting. So similar to the event we sponsored when we had the water devices and the beaver, I was trying to think if we should do something like that again, because it was actually pretty popular. We had quite a few people here, and a talk and walk seemed to go pretty well. So I've engaged with him a couple times, and we've chatted about stuff, and he wanted some ideas of what kind of things we'd like to hear about. I don't know if we're really interested in urban forestry, just because we don't really seem to have that issue. But he's a PhD, and you read it. He's a PhD in botany,
So we'd come up with a place where we would want to do this.
yeah, we'd try to come up with some ideas of things that we'd like to cover, some topics, and we could obviously do it here in town hall. But he wants to also do a walk. He said, "Look, I could do it on a weekend if you want to be able to have a talk and walk." And again, that worked out really well last time we did it. So I didn't know if that's. I'm not going to continue to pursue it if you guys don't think it's a good idea, or if you don't want to do it. But I do need some ideas of what kind of things that we'd be interested in hearing about. If you have pet projects that you just don't understand, whatever.
So this is for the public? Or?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You sure are.
Would he be able to tell you what the impact is of cutting 12 acres clear cut on the forest? Like Fidelity's?
I'm sure he could have an opinion about that. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the substitution of solar and yeah. Is that something you want me to pursue?
I don't know. I haven't read what his credentials are and all that
It's
too.
it's just a quick letter he sent to me and said, "Hey, I've got time to do this," and he's interesting. He's doing this whole Regreen Springfield thing, which is a huge effort, which I thought was really kind of cool. But again, it's a suburban urban forestry, which is these are people that are going in and
So for us, it would be more forest management.
yeah, I mean, but that's
Or for the public, it might be managing their.
yeah, managing woodlands. Yeah, managing woodlots, and how do you manage, woodlots that are this size? People don't think of their backyard as a woodlot. It's only an acre, whatever. So it's just kind of I don't know. I'm just trying to find some things that we can.
People would be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some things that would be, some topics that would be interesting that he could, make interesting.
Suburban woodlots.
All right.
So it sounds attractive. I just,
Okay.
I need to.
I will see if I can send him a message and say, hey, if you could give us a couple launch points for ideas and things that we could go look at to get some ideas. And
Didn't he mention 2 Saturdays in August or something?
yeah, he's got some time coming up in August. He said he'd have available if we wanted to do it on a Saturday.
Is there a fee for her?
No. No, he said he doesn't want to accept any money.
Oh.
Oh, I like him.
So, yeah, so I told him I'll at least buy him lunch or something.
So would he have any knowledge of, like, what you could put instead of grass? See,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Something that's more environmental, that doesn't need as much water. I mean, is that something?
I'm sure that's probably something. He's got a PhD in botany, I believe,
Okay.
is this degree. So, doctor of botany.
Mhm.
So I would imagine he's going to have some
Yeah.
knowledge of that.
Well,
Yeah. Or
maybe too, I mean, just green, conserving your yard in the greenest possible manner, like things that we talk about all the time, why you should be testing your soil first. Because I'm sure people don't think about that, and then he can talk about why that's so important, You stop and you think about how all of the water is connected, everything runs off into the water. So people can actually hear from somebody, with their degree in botany about why it's so important.
we have a number of beekeepers, maybe how we can do something on our properties to provide for local bees to bring back the bee population.
That's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we could potentially do a project on one of our properties to do that if we thought it,
I mean, if
whatever, try some stuff out and then suggest it to people to do in their backyards.
you had a scouting group that was interested, or a school group that was interested in putting down, non-invasive wildflower species on our properties, is that something that they'd be able to do? That would bring in bees, or do we frown upon that?
I have no idea what would bring in bees, yeah.
Well, I mean, there are plants that they say, plant these if you want bees.
That's kind of what I was suggesting, maybe he could tell
Yeah,
us.
but would we be able to do, is that, because I sit there and say, remember years ago was it Kitty Dukakis was throwing out plant seeds? Of course, she was throwing out Dame's rockets and stuff like that. Dame's rocket, what was she throwing out that was now an invasive species? But she was just throwing wildflowers out, like the seeds out. No, she wasn't throwing loosestrife.
Wasn't that the stuff that they planted all in the inner
No, I thought it
greenway
was
between the
Dame's
highways?
rocket. I thought it was Dame's rocket
Oh.
that she was planting. They're beautiful, but they're invasive. But obviously, we'd have to monitor that, because you can't just have people throwing stuff willy-nilly.
Okay. Any more other business? We have no subcommittee meeting since the last meeting, I think we didn't have, right?
No, we have one coming up, but I can't remember when it is. I think it's July 9th, I think.
So we're into the minutes.
We are into the minutes.
Have a chance to read the minutes?
Oh, I will say that the Girl Scouts, a couple of the Girl Scouts are going to come to our next subcommittee meeting.
Oh,
The
good.
Horse Hill subcommittee meeting, so, I said if timing permits, they said sure, so. Scheduled for.
I guess I should bring this up now instead of later. We talked about a lime for Rockhead Falls. This is the one from New Hampshire. I'll just pass them out. There you go.
Or just a kiosk notice?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to have it laminated or something before it goes in the kiosk, or?
It should be, because it won't survive.
All right, I'll have it laminated. I'm gonna go into the library on Wednesday.
You know, I'll have time on the 29th to open that kiosk up and put the maps up.
29th, the day that we're meeting with the library?
No, that's the 26th.
26th, all right, so the 29th, so I need to have it laminated before then. Laminate.
Getting itchy looking at this.
Does anybody else want one laminated for their kiosk? Going, gone.
Did you print these out, or?
Printed it on my printer.
You did, okay.
Should I get them printed on a better printer?
No, I didn't, I just didn't know if you printed them out or if you picked them up, like.
No, I just,
We probably have a color printer downstairs.
you probably do, but
So
I
we
have
could-
one at home, so.
Well, I know, but you probably could, Sharon can probably have a couple of these printed off. So
Yours is probably better than mine.
you're not using your own material for them. They may have a laminator here too. I don't know.
Okay. I'll ask about the laminator, because when I volunteer at the library, I can ask if I can just borrow it for one thing. Is it all kind of the town, or is the school gonna?
It's all under the town.
I don't wanna break any rules. Okay.
All right.
Ready for the minutes?
Do we want to go into minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 4th, 2018 meeting minutes with corrections.
Second?
Second by Cindy, motion by Mike.
You wanna go first, or you want me to go?
Oh, I thought Mike had
I
something.
just have one.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
On page 7, line 13, I'd like to just correct Riverworks to River Network and get rid of the word printing. Thank you.
So, if that's what you said,
Well, I said Riverworks probably, but
Yeah,
I didn't. I don't think I said printing. I probably talked about printing.
right, okay.
Or signs or something. But I like.
Because we can clarify that that's what their name is,
Yeah.
and not necessarily, it's not really correcting the,
But I like to strike the word printing.
okay?
And clarify that the actual name is River Network.
River
Rivers Network. River Network,
River Network.
singular.
I'm gonna correct some spelling on the scouts' names, because I did not speak clearly.
Okay.
So on page 5, line 7, the correct spelling is capital SIDHANTH, and his last name is spelled capital DHAN like in Nancy, ARAJ like in Jack. And that would be the same spelling also on page 5, line 46. We'll reach out to Life Scout, again, capital DHAN like in Nancy, ARAJ like in Jack. And then on page 5, line 15, a request was also received from, her name is Joan, Joan, Lord, Lord. And I think when you talk about scouts, we should capitalize the S, so on line 23 on page 5, that would allow for scouts. I would put a capital S under scouts, since we are talking about Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. What else do I have? On page 6, line 1, the commission discussed should be need, not needed, so cross the ED. And And then on line 2, again, capitalize the S on Scout. Also on page 6, line 40, towards the end of that line, capitalize the S again for scouting. That could be a scouting project. And on, oh, I was going to check that, and I didn't check that. On page 8, line 31, just put a "the" before outdoor. And that's all I have.
I only have one change, but it has to be made 3 times. On page 3, first on line 28.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Page 3, line 28. Cycles, etc. There's no comma, and the E in etc. is capital. And it's again on line 38 and then 44. But that's it.
I saw that and I didn't know what the right thing for that was.
Tim, you ready?
No.
Cindy?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Other comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 6-0-0. Excellent. Okay, no more public comment. Commissioner comments? No. Mike, Matt, anything? Tim?
Nope, all set.
Gina?
Nothing.
Mike? No? Okay. 2 things real quick. I called and left another message for Jeff. I didn't think about it till later the other day, so he's gonna get us a quote. And then we did talk about last week, about last meeting, of the ARM funding. Am I supposed to be talking to Tracy to find out money? And are we looking to try to do another ARM fund project?
I thought it was said it was about, like, we should be looking for land purchase or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And that's what the map was, and I can get some idea of what it's gonna, they offer services for generating those permits, or generating the applications. So, I didn't know if we're trying to find, do we wanna find out what it, what does that, something like that cost? I know that seems to be something that we always struggle with, is getting the applications done, getting them done in time. And we spent a lot of time, chasing this one down for the bypass road, and we had a professional come and go, no. So, it just, I don't want to be wasting anyone's time. I don't also don't want to go blowing through all our money either, so.
Can we even work on one since we already sent a pre-proposal in?
I don't see why we couldn't.
Okay.
I mean, we may not be able
Have to
for
be
this
a
year,
rush, yeah.
Right.
but just,
We'd have to come up with something we have in mind, and.
right.
So I guess we have to.
But it might, and that might be something to do, is like, look, take their knowledge and say, okay, what type of projects should we be going after?
Yeah.
She spent 20 minutes and made that map for us, and it highlighted things like, oh, man, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Didn't know about that.
She mentioned Old Blood, or. Yeah,
Well,
is that true, or-
the exemplary habitat is Chestnut Hill. Just like she looked at it, that would be a prime purchase right there. That would be something you could put in the ARM fund, and that's something that would get funded.
But that's something that's so large, it'd have to go to the town.
Oh yes, right.
So when she says that would be funded, does she mean part of
That's
the
a,
purchase price?
that's
or-
the type of thing that would be funded. That's the type of thing that they
Get
would,
some money
they
for
would,
it.
that would be a high priority for them to fund.
Okay.
Because you're protecting uplands, you're protecting the water, it's an exemplary habitat. And those are all things that we know after the fact, but we all missed it.
Yeah.
So, not that it's, not missed it, maybe it's not the right word, but I mean, you guys spend a lot of time doing that work. And it wasn't wasted, but it was not fruitful either. So, do we want to have someone looking kind of over our shoulder and saying, hey, you know, this is the type of thing you should be going after, or do we just want to continue doing it ourselves?
You want to make that an agenda item for our next
We
meeting?
can.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Okay. That was my only comment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Motion by Tim, second by Cindy. All those in favor?
Sign these.
Oh,
Just,
yeah,
you just
we
put
gotta
your first
sign
name
them.
on here.
You voting?
Oh, time?
You
Oh,
voting?
Gina, yeah.
Passes 600. We are adjourned at 9:21.